Hey everyone, just real quick here at the top of the show, I wanted to let everybody know we're starting a new clips channel. Should be a link showing up top here somewhere. It's to try and find an audience that's looking for shorter content. So if you're here, you probably like the longer stuff. But if you could help us out with a sub, some likes, comment or two, might help the channel gain some initial traction. So if you can help us out, please do. And if you didn't know, live episodes are at twitch.tv/blazeandbob, usually Friday and Saturday nights. Take it easy. Welcome to Warcraft Reloaded, a podcast brought to you by Mash Those Buttons, covering World of Warcraft Classic and its community. I'm Bobby, also known as Blazin' Bob, and we're joined once again by Mel, aka Melarina. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Bob?
Well, I'm wonderful, especially since we have this great crew. We also have, returning to the show, Winky. How you doing?
Oh, hey guys, I identify as Yip now, so you can just call me Yip if you'd like.
Wink, yip, yippee, yippee.
Wink, yippee, wink, yip, yippinky. Anyway, no, I'm good. Hanging in there, you know, getting over the sore, being sore for a month after I moved.
Yep, yeah, the last time Winky was on the show, he got someone banned.
Did I really get someone banned?
Someone banned for buying gold.
Oh, hey, looking. Do as I say, not as I do. Like, if you're willing to risk buying gold, buy gold. But hey, don't blame it on me if you get the ban.
Blame it on the rain. And we're also joined once again, the man, the myth, the legend, Duranasaur. How you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal. Always happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Always happy to have you. And I mean, you're the only one playing Season of Mastery still, so you know it's
maybe in the entire world.
Yeah.
No, I'm on Season of Mastery right now.
Oh, okay. So two of us.
Oh. Yeah. There's two of us. I'm doing a warrior hardcore run secretively in solo.
Oh,
so no one laughs when I die. Yeah, it's so nobody memes on me when I die.
The irony of Winky, host of F's in chat, doing a secret run so that no one knows when he dies.
Yeah, it's like, hey, as I said, do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, well, we have a good show coming up for you. We're gonna go over, you know, the news, and then we're gonna discuss some of the news in discussion. That'll be the boosting talk. I'd like to remind everybody at the top of the show, we do stream live at twitch.tv/blazinbob. It's BLAZZINBOB. I'd like to thank we now have two tank patrons in Thick Lizzie and Talon. And Talon is his actual first name. I was like, dude, that's such a cool name. It's like what I used to name, like when I would play single player RPGs, I would use the name Talon, and I got it from this horrible 80s movie that my dad loved. It was called Sword and the Sorcerer. And the main character's name was Talon. Yeah, it had this, the main guy had this sword that had 3 blades, and 2 of the blades would shoot out of it. I mean,
I'm watching that. I just literally pull up a tab. I'm watching that later today. I have such a thing for like 80s fantasy movies.
Oh, it's so good cheese. It's so good cheese.
I love cheese. It's that. Yeah, I'm watching that later. I'm going to be leveling this paladin watching that movie in like 30 minutes.
I don't want to give too much away, but at the very start, the main character Talon beats the shit out of a guy with a drumstick.
Yeah,
it's so good. That's so good.
That's good.
All right, yeah. Just a reminder to everybody: the Patreon's going to change next month to just monthly instead of per episode. So if you were hesitant before, please go check it out after the 1st. Oh, so also we have our new voicemail, and we got a few call-ins. We got 3 different call-ins, 2 from one person. So yeah, that the number for that is 816-866-1066. So if you're in the car and you want to rant at us or tell us you like us or hate us or whatever, just give that number a call. I did get reached out by a few people overseas. I don't know how to do a free number for that to be able to get like your guys' call-ins. So I don't know what to do about that. I'm sorry that can't have, can't have it for everybody.
They could use Google Phone or whatever it is.
That's what I'm using.
And then but if they have a VPN, they could just set it to the USA and then call with Google.
Oh, okay.
Should be able to go through.
Well, that's the whole point of this was to make it easy on people that were, commuting. They might as well
I'm
just
excited for negative
send an
feedback
email.
through the voicemail. That's what
I know
hear.
somebody's just like, you freaking idiot! How do you not know this? Yeah, I've been waiting for that too. I've been waiting for that too.
They're busy leaving you comments. They don't have time to pick up the phone.
True. I think inherently people are like less inflammatory over voice.
Yeah.
Than they would be in a comment box, right? So it's going to be like, I think it's going to be harder to get that negative feedback via the phone voicemail, but it would be so funny to listen to that.
Oh, it'd be great.
Oh man.
All right, well,
I'd have a blast.
Let's listen to him. You guys should be able to. I should have this set up where you guys hear it too.
Hey, Blazing Bob and Mel and whatever honored guest of the week you've got. I've been really enjoying your content. I'm just returning back to Wrath after my daughter was born and looking forward to re-experiencing all those highs and lows with you guys. I love your content. Thank you for, having fun with it and being as casual as you are hardcore about the various play styles. Really appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work. For the Horde.
For the Horde.
Oh, see, they do that so you can't not read it, Mel.
Right?
They know.
Cut it off.
They know.
Oh, that's good stuff. And then the next one. Thank you so much for them call in.
Hey, follow up. I have a suggestion. Since you guys cover so much really fun casual style content and more casual raiders, maybe covering with some of your experts what those of us who want to play the off-meta specs, what can we do to really make ourselves more attractive for raid or, contribute the most? I'm talking about your early game arms warriors, your early game combat rogues, stuff where it's not in vogue at the time. I'm sure a lot of people would really appreciate that. You guys do awesome content. Thank you so much. And I'm loving how cool my mud huts are.
Oh, he got cut off before he did For the Horde that time.
That just seemed like
that
karma
was
right there. Just saying.
It was definitely not me.
Congrats on having a kid, by the way. He said he came back after having his daughter.
Yep,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's a big step in life. You love to see it.
I mean,
I also feel like he was telling us, he was like, so could you please ask your guests? Like, well, you guys aren't really.
Yep. So you guys are on the
question.
You guys are on the spot. What is your suggestion to make their off meta specs better? And I'm going to pipe up though real quick and say Combat Rogue, I think is slept on early on. I think it's going to be just fine. But that's my little piece.
Can we determine can we define off meta? Is it just spec, or are we talking race class combo? Because if it's a human priest, I'm not even letting it in my raid until Wrath.
Whatever.
Right?
I do wonderful things in raid as a human priest.
We had all human priests in vanilla.
Priest in my if I'm in a vanilla guild, Durad, me and you are on the same page with this.
Yeah.
If you play human priest in vanilla WoW, you should just delete your character.
Nope.
And unsub from the game.
We had 3 of them.
Stop.
Listen,
and then one dwarf.
I understand that dwarfs have a better racial in.
It's not a better racial. It's a mandatory racial.
Yeah. No,
it's literally game changing.
We don't have Tremor Totem on the Alliance. but we don't have Tremor Totem on the Alliance, right? So like,
Yeah,
in
we
order
got
to make
by.
up for the fact that we don't have a button that the Horde has, we have to have our priests be dwarves.
No, don't.
I mean, we got through everything with 3 human priests and 1 dwarf priest.
You could get through everything with Ret DPS,
Yeah.
enhancement shamans,
It's true.
and arcane mages and beastmaster hunters. You can probably do it. That doesn't mean it's gonna be a good
And
time.
like
Yeah, you can
PvP
do a
spec
full-
arms warriors.
You can do a full molten core of 40 boomkins in vanilla if you want.
I think someone did that.
Yeah, I think they did. But it's just not preferred, you know. No,
So-
but in my opinion, what you could do if you're playing like an off meta class or spec or anything like that is that you're putting yourself into an intentional situation of having to know a shit ton about your class. Like if you're gonna not play the most optimal spec, you need to be really incredibly knowledgeable at what you're doing so that you can still play whatever spec or class that you're playing at a level at which is like acceptable for the terms of the guild that you're joining or runs you're joining in, right?
Yeah.
Because like you can do bad DPS and still parse 100 as a feral druid, right? and like no one can say shit, right? Because they're like, oh yeah, like you were really low on the damage meters, but you're the best at the lowest DPS class. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Just know what you're doing. Basically, that's what I would say.
Yeah. And go the extra mile too. Like if you're in a guild, like most guilds, I'm thinking most specifically about vanilla because there's like way more consumables and like buffs and things. But if you're playing that off meta and you're coming like fully world buff to every raid, you're fully consumed like with everything, not just like the normal stuff, but like you're you know running extra jujus even for like the random resistances. You're getting like Baron's buffs as like a horde player. Like you're doing every little thing to like try to close that gap, even if you're still below all the meta specs.
And as an
That
alliance
goes a long
player,
way.
you can really look like Chad if you have the horde buff. You know,
Yeah.
like
Get war
So
chiefs
he's
busting.
obviously
yeah.
not an alliance character. I think we've established that.
True.
So there's an inherent benefit though, right? This is why I think a lot of people should play off meta. It's another reason why I want to play off meta.
You want
It's
to play a
because
human priest? Is that what I heard you say?
no, hell no. I'm talking specifically in terms of DPS classes. You can do this. This is a good strategy, okay? If you ever beat somebody in DPS that you shouldn't, you can hold it over their head. And if they ever beat you at DPS, it's expected.
Dude,
You know what I mean? So it's like you literally win-win all the time.
Yeah.
They've got so like when like warriors first started to pop up, right? Like
Mhm.
in TBC, like in SSC and TK, one of the boss fights, the locks should have all beaten. The Destro locks should have all beaten the Fury Warrior on that specific fight. And I was Affy at the time, and I would go, "You Destro lock should be ashamed of yourself." And then Yip saved it, then plays it, periodically during different raids.
Attaboy. That's what you're supposed to do. Like if
Yeah.
like so for instance on my Warlock at TBC, I didn't have 4-piece for the longest time, right? and I would be topping the charts on certain fights, and I'm like, yo, imagine losing to an affliction lock without 4-piece. And then all the other warlocks are like, oh, this son of a bitch, right? Like you gotta play to your strengths, you know what I mean? Like if you're playing an off meta class, really be a grime lord and call people out when they suck, you know?
One of the most fun I had in vanilla was doing near like the end of vanilla, going into like GDKPs on my hunters and just like being like just sweatier than everyone else, like getting all the extra buffs, using all the extra consumes, and then beating like rogues and warriors, and just being able to be like, how are you losing to a hunter?
That's what I do. That's what I do now on my warrior. I like go to GDKPs, consume everything, and I'm like, thinking to myself, imagine being a buyer and beating everybody at overall DPS.
Yeah. It's a good feeling. And the cool part is too, like, especially in classic, like just vanilla, with the server identity and, everyone seems to just learn to get to know everybody over time. people will remember you. Like they'll remember Duranasaur as like, dude, that guy's a good hunter. Because like we brought him into a raid that was just kind of like a casual raid, and dude was just pumping the whole time, right? And it's like your level of sweat, maybe like, you might be over sweating for this current situation, but people will remember that, right? And then if a spot opens up in someone's guild, you'll just randomly get a DM like, hey, you want to come raid tonight? We've got an opening for XYZ, because they remember that you're a pumper, which is it's a good thing.
All right, well, let's get this next one.
Hey, Bob and Mel. I mainly had a question for you too. I want to know what your best, your favorite era of Classic WoW has been so far. For me, it's been the initial launch. I think I love the rush of everyone kind of coming in. So I kind of want to get your guys' opinion on that. And Mel's the best, and Bob, you're wrong. So bye.
Can we play that again? I think I missed the end of it.
Yeah, that needs to be the new sub notification on Twitch.
Right?
I'm thinking about making it one of my keys that I could hit.
Yes, I agree. I think that's one. Can I hit that key? Can I like type in something that hits that key?
Oh, we can make it channel points. We can make it channel points. I might just have to do that. Yes.
As far as the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I wasn't there right at launch. So that can't be my favorite.
I mean, you were there like 2 weeks after, though, which was still pretty like booming everywhere.
Yeah. I feel like I was still resistant when I started, though, right? Like I was resistant to come back to Classic just because of my experience in vanilla. I was like, a lot of time. I don't have that much time anymore. So I don't know that would be my favorite. I think my favorite part is probably like the first time we downed a boss that was really hard, like Saffron or something, right? Like I think just that, like we came in, Molten Core, Blackwing Lair, everything was like super easy and it was fun, but it wasn't like you didn't get that same experience of like you worked for something really hard and figured it out. I think that would probably be mine.
Good answer. Mine's hands down, without a doubt, first few weeks of Classic launch, and just magical. And I was like, oh my God, I'm home again. Like it was just, that was amazing to me. And running all the low level dungeons and getting mad when somebody would wipe you. And it's so funny because it's such a little small thing, and like, but it felt so big at the time, and like, yeah, all of that was great. There was no one to run you through anything. Like, you're actually doing all these low level dungeons. And I mean, that was really fun for me. And, and tanking with a two-handed sword in most dungeons up until you get to like basically Black Rock Depths. Like, I mean, that was a good old time. And having so many people yell at you while you're taking the dungeon just fine with a two-hander, and them telling you need a shield, and like, dude, you don't need a shield for this early stuff. I'm sorry. So much fun.
Do you guys remember the learning curve from? There was two kinds of people that came into vanilla on Classic relaunch, right? There was the people that had been playing private servers and like were like meta fiends, and they like knew everything about the game, right? And then there were people who were like hard stuck vanilla
10 years
only
ago.
Like, yeah, like I back in my day and like and there was like a huge learning curve of like, you guys, like we don't tank with shields anymore. Like Fury, it's Fury Pro. You know what I mean? Like
I was that guy. Curve. There was a whole meme in our guild making fun of me where someone would just say, well, back in original vanilla, they didn't have engineers. Well, back in original, like, and it was a meme just joking at me because I would tell them like all the rogues were all dagger rogues. Like there was no sword rogues, and that's true. There wasn't. And like I was like, we didn't have warriors in the raid. No one was engineers. Like, and now it's just like but I was just pointing out the differences. But like, yeah, it was There were so
We
many
had
things
a-
so different in original than when we came back.
We had a rule, like a hard and fast rule in my TBC guild. It's if somebody said the word over Discord, if they said the phrase back in vanilla at any point in time, you could tell them to shut the fuck up, boomer, and get 5 DKP. Like unironically, you could just tell people to shut up about it because it was like it was TBC, right? We had been dealing with the meme for like 2 years at that point, and it was crazy, man.
Yeah.
What a time.
I had to at a certain point. Like I just stopped piping up when people would start talking about like meta stuff in Classic because I was one of those people that was like, well, on private servers, and I was like, I can't do this for like 2
Yeah.
years.
Yep. Yeah, that was the other one that was annoying. The private server people being like, well, on private servers would this, and this. It's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely two ends of the same coin, right? In one hand,
Oh,
you, had
yeah.
you had the boomer, and then you had the private server like meta grinders. And then we had to find a happy medium,
Let's play this last voicemail. These are fun, man. These are really fun.
Hey there, I'm a fairly new listener, but in terms of what you keep saying about TOC and how you hate it, I barely remember it, but all I remember is that the dailies made me the most gold I ever had in WoW history. So I'm looking forward to the dailies at least.
I am too. I bitch about TOC a lot. I'm sorry, but it did suck. Like as a raid, but the dailies were fun. You got to joust, and there was a good time.
I don't remember any of this.
Some good cash. But-
you're gonna hate me, Bob. I'm actually like thoroughly looking forward to TOC.
Why?
I'm not even kidding. I love it.
Why?
It was just fun back in the day. I just remember it being really fun.
Oh, see, I just
Back in the day.
I know, right? I've just always enjoyed it. I don't know.
like all the loot you just buy like right outside. Like it's so
Yeah, but
lackluster.
maybe that's why I like it. It's just quick and easy. You get it over with and it's done.
I don't know.
Several times a week.
Well, and also it like also gets a bad name because like it was when we went from having to do a 10 and a 25 man every week to having to do 2 25 mans and 2 10 mans every week because the gear, even the 10 man gear, was so much better than older war gear. It was dumb to not do them all. It's just like it was just a lot. So I am looking more forward to it now that they're saying that they're just going to have it. You're going to be able to do heroic or normal, but not both. So I'm a little more excited about it because of that. But yeah, that was the only thing. But yeah,
I think
that's
it's
the
quickly
Collins.
as we go through content nowadays too, though, right? Like I think that would have taken us 5 days back in the day, right? And now you could probably get all of it done in a day, maybe 2,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this like distinct memory from being like 14 years old and doing Molten Core in original vanilla where it always took 3 hours.
Yeah. I
And
remember
being really
Deadmines-
excited when it was faster than that.
I remember
yeah.
Deadmines taking 3 hours back.
Yeah.
Well, my first Dead Mines, I was a mage. We had 3 paladins, and then Mel was or no, Mel wasn't even there on my very first run. I hadn't even met her yet because I met her when PvP came out. But it was me. I think it was me, and it was a druid, my buddy, and then 3 paladins, and we had no idea what we were doing. And it took forever to get through that dungeon.
We still have no idea what we're doing. Let's be real.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Duranasaur's the only one that knows what he's doing here.
No,
Ugh.
not in Wrath.
Hey, true. I was watching Crix last night, and it's like the first beta content that I've seen because I've been intentionally avoiding it to just kind of go in like with a fresh mindset, not burn out on Wrath or anything. And it is, I was lost, man. I was watching what was going on. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna suck. Like that's just it. I'm just gonna suck in Wrath, and I'm okay with it.
Same.
Oh, see, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna go. I should go the opposite direction because TBC I never raided, and I also had never raided as a ranged class of any kind. And like that was a whole learning curve of positioning and movement and everything, where melee you just stick to the ass of the boss most of the time, unless mechanics say no, so it was it's a big learning curve. But now I'm going back to what I did really well, Rogue, in our original Wrath, and I'd done all of the raids, and I'm pretty excited. I didn't do ICC. I quit before ICC because of TOC, but I did ICC later, so in Kata.
I did ICC. But then again, like the rating that we did back in the day does not equate. Like nothing we did back then is going to equate to how crazy it is now. Because like the private servers, like Wrath has been one of the most prominently played private servers. That's like, it's just like a hard figured out, like I was talking to a Byte earlier this week, and Wrath is just straight up solved. There's like no more questions about it.
I don't know, man, because you said you haven't been watching a lot of beta content. So much shit from private servers has already been proved just straight up wrong. Like,
yeah,
so
but
there's so much
that was like that Blizzard is just straight up. Blizzard straight up broke on the beta. Like there's things on the beta that just don't work.
We don't know exactly. Lots of the stuff we don't know if it's working correctly. But I mean, there's lots of things like that. Like I'm just like, well, I don't know, man. Like I think they had a lot of stuff
broken right now on the beta. Like hunters are just like unplayable, right? Same with warrior.
Yeah.
Hunter's good.
Yeah.
I thought that there was some kind of like game breaking bug with hunter, and I know warriors can't use overpower. It like doesn't work.
Oh, overpower no, there's some bugs with overpower proccing from bleeds. I don't know if that's been fixed yet. But I mean, warriors right now can solo dungeons working up. And if they don't solo, they're like the number one damage in a 5-man group. And then Sarth found a way to make hunters unbelievable AoE bots with traps and them stuff. Like there's all kinds of weird stuff that has popped up. But the Revenge Arms Prot Warriors spec is like out of this world. I've done it too. Like I've copied characters over and done it. It's freaking nuts the amount of damage you do.
I'm actually getting more excited by the day now that there's a release date. Just because it's like everything I've heard. Because the only classes I've ever played in Wrath were Priest, Paladin, and Shaman, and I was a Shaman main for like my whole life. And it's like, dude, every class just sounds so fun now. Like every class in the game. Sounds like it has some really cool tools and stuff. I don't know. I'm gonna have to level one of everything, I guess. Pre-patch, here we come.
Yeah.
All right, just
Joyous Journeys.
Joyous Journeys, exactly.
I'm doing it right now as we speak. I'm running around Shimmering Floods.
Okay, yeah. So call in number 816-866-1066. Thank you for the call-ins. We did have a couple reviews. Mel, do you just want to read the reviews real quick?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. We have a 5-star review from Mr. Cheesy. Says, I'm coming home. Hey team, I quit TBC a while back and wasn't planning on returning to the game because Wrath is where I feel things started to head downhill with all of the convenient little features taken away from the community. I have been listening to all of your shows the past month or so, and it's amped me up to come back for Wrath. You all do a great job keeping it fun, interesting, and informative. I can feel the hype. Thanks for all that you do. For the Horde. Cheezel Grobulus. Oh. Well, thank you, Cheezel. I'm glad you're coming back for Wrath. I'm excited about Wrath. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Excited for Wrath, Duranasaur?
I am. It's gonna be like a brand new experience for me. Like TBC was kind of a new experience. I played a tiny bit when it first came out. I did like the entry level raids and stuff. I got dragged through like an SSC at one point, things like that. But so I had an idea of like how TBC worked and what the classes and stuff were like. But Wrath is I've never played Wrath at all, like up until the beta, and the stuff that I've done on the beta has just made me pretty excited about it because I feel like The thing they did with Wrath was make it more about the player and less about the class. In terms of like how, whether you bring someone to a raid or
so many extra ways to get those buffs, those what we consider nowadays mandatory buffs.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Mel, you want to just read the next one too?
Yeah, all right. Billy, 5-star reviews, his best WoW Classic podcast down. You won't be disappointed at all. Bob Mel and all of the guests do a fantastic job with this podcast. They convey points from all types of players. They also do a great job of entertaining. There's not a single podcast out there I like half as much as this one. Aw. Thanks, Billy.
That is very kind. Very kind. Thank you guys so
bring
much.
On other people to make it entertaining.
Yeah, you've totally figured me out here. Like, I'm not entertaining, but I know a lot of people that are.
I've done it for years as well. Don't worry. I know all about it.
All the tricks.
Yeah,
Bob and I had to do a podcast by ourselves. We both got on and we were like, well, first of all, we talk to each other all the time.
Constantly.
Right?
So we're like
trying to make content about things that we've probably already talked about with no other point of views. It was like, okay.
Guests help you from burning out too, because you always have a little bit of something different,
Oh yeah,
a little fresh perspective here and there.
Yeah,
it's okay. So when we first started, I was like, I really want to do guests, a lot on the show, and Salve Dally just came on first guest and gave us credibility right off the bat. And then now it's a good place for other content creators to come in. They get seen like we've gotten big. So it's really cool, and so it helps us out and it helps them out. And I think a lot of content creators, especially YouTubers, really whenever Willie comes on, you can tell he's just like, oh, I get to talk to people that aren't comments. It's just and you just get to shoot the shit about stuff that you just, don't get to shoot the shit about at work and stuff. And so I just think podcasts are fun. I'm glad we're getting a few more of them too. Classic Life's been kicking ass recently. I'm loving it. Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for the reviews. And what have we been doing in WoW lately? Who wants to go first?
Have we all been doing the same thing?
Can we all do that thing where we all point at a different person? Who goes first? I don't know which direction.
I don't know why I feel like Bob's not pointing at a person.
No, Bob's pointing at you. He's pointing at you.
I'm pointing at a person.
You're not.
Duranasaur needs to point down or diagonal. According to the stream.
Okay, all right, okay, whatever.
It's on the stream.
We killed it, guys. Okay. We killed it.
That was great.
Such a good job.
Good choreography.
We practiced that for hours before the show. We really nailed it right there.
Yeah, I know. I had to get a lunch break in.
All right, Mel, you go.
So the Joyous Journeys 50% XP buff came out. So Bob convinced me to make a new character, which I really like questing, so that's fine. I'll make a new character. The problem comes when we get to max level and then he's like, hey, let's do this with our ults. And I'm like, oh, whoa, hold on. I don't have time to gear up and do all of this with my ult. So we'll see how that goes. But it's been really fun. I think the XP boost is really fun and enjoyable just because you constantly see your bar just going and getting new levels. It's insane.
I know there's been people complaining about it, but I freaking love it, man. It's
you complain about it, turn it off. That's where I'm at.
And I love the fact that they made it so you can turn it off. That is so cool. Yeah. It is so cool.
It's very smart. Yeah.
I want them to do that with more stuff. What was it? It was Classic Life. It was Jordy was guesting and Scotty J was guesting, and Jordy talked about, what I talk about a lot, wanting new features, but wanting them to be toggleable so that if people don't want it, they don't have to use it. Like the quest helper, make it toggleable. Toggle. Yeah, I can't say it.
Toggleable.
Yeah, just
toggleable.
Just make it so that people can turn it on and off. Same with, transmog. If they ever bring that in, just have it so you can toggle it on and off. Everybody's happy. I mean, so
that's funny though.
Everybody's unhappy.
Yeah, not everyone is ever happy, right? Because there's always going to be those gatekeepers that are like, this is not my classic experience, and therefore you cannot enjoy it. And it never ends, dude. It will never end. And if that's you, if you're listening right now and that's you, I said it.
I said it.
What are you gonna do about it?
I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
So
but I made
we've been working
paladin. So I've never played a paladin, and I made a paladin.
They're fun, right?
Yeah, sure. I'm Rhett.
Lots of auto attacking.
She's also never played melee.
Yeah,
I have a terrible introduction to melee. You got to play rogue if you've never played melee before.
Yeah, well, I don't want to play melee. I'm just doing it while we level, and then I want to be holy, right?
Yeah, you're like Rhett will be cool in Wrath, but it's god awful leveling, like even in TBC.
Well, yeah, pretty much. But it's kind of fun. And then Bob tries to tell me, he's like, you need to. I asked him, I was like, okay, guys, this is a stupid question because I've never played melee, right? But what happened was like, I tabbed to a target, but if my last target had died, I wasn't melee in that target. And so I'd like try to right click on it, but I'd end up looting the target that just died. And then just standing there for like 5 minutes, not doing anything. And I don't even realize. Then I'm like too far away from the mob and I don't even realize that I'm not swinging because there's other mobs around me. Like I am a hot mess at melee. Just let me throw that out there. And so Bob tells me, he's trying to tell me about putting a start attack macro on every ability that I use. And I was like,
but I also haven't played Paladin either and didn't realize that she doesn't really have moves like that. She does seals and
all
stuff.
The moves that you use. And I was like, my auto attack? And he's like, no, every move you use. And I was like, so my auto attack, can I just put my auto attack on a keybind? And he's
there's a paladin trick you can do. Instead of doing a start stop attack macro, just if you like tab target and judgment something. If you judge it, you'll start auto attacking afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I told him. He was like, put it on judgment, put it on your seals. And I was like, but if I judge somebody, it already does auto attack.
But like my whole point was if you don't have mana, that key will still work as your auto attack key.
True.
So true. And then our buddy suggested she just put the attack button down there. And I was like, no, just make a start attack. If you're going to use that button, make a start attack macro so you can spam it. And you never stop attacking. Because if you hit it twice, you would attack and then stop attacking if you actually use the move button. But
listen, it's a whole new world for me. I don't know that I like it.
Yeah. But yeah, if you had start attack, even if a move was on cooldown, hitting that macro will still start attacking. Like that's why we do it for Heroic Strike, Sinister Strike, Hemo, like anything. I have it on almost everything.
My enhancement shaman is like start attack, frost shock, start attack, like flame shock, start attack, earth shock, like every single button I have has that on there.
Well, you guys are
I just don't have any buttons, Duranasaur. There's no other buttons that I push.
I know that you don't have buttons.
If you're duo leveling though, just go prot and get a shield spike and pull like 80 things. And then just consecrate and let him hit you with red aura. And
we're probably gonna re-spec her at some point, and we're probably gonna do that.
I know, right?
Yeah,
we're gonna re-spec our paladin.
Oh, but yeah, it's been a good time. I'm healing and having a good time with that. One thing I will say, so I hadn't worked up any 1 to 60 character through TBC. I boosted my rogue, boosted the paladin, and then I had already worked up the warrior and the mage back in classic, right? And so the only characters I had worked up 1 to 60 were my 2 hardcore tunes recently, and now I'm in TBC.
Which we really know how to get to 1 to 20. Like those quests, we have those down pat.
Hardcore is good for that.
But
It is very
what
good for
I
that.
had forgotten about is how fun it is to twink out a new tune. Get that 30 spell power like right off the bat on whatever, you know,
Yeah, I've had
whatever
Crusader
thing
on
you
my
want.
weapon since like level 18.
Uh-huh.
No, level 15. You got, and it's just like, I mean, you're just like, I got all these enchants on. I mean, and I'm just a buff little thing, and it's hilarious to work up like that, as opposed to like the hardcore route, which was like, oh god, I've got to like
I
work
found
for
out
everything.
there was wand vendors, you know. Who knew that was a thing?
And like now I'm just using like the best blue, you know, like BOE drops, you know, like wand wise, and it's been a good old time. I've been having a blast. And then just
So one thing though that has been a slight barrier that we've encountered is that our RXP guide is
Fall
not
behind?
in line with my 50% boost. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm 25 and it's like
We're
having me
having-
go to the 20 to 21 area. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I think they're working on that. I
You
think
can-
they
Yeah.
are.
They are, but you can also just right click on it and switch it to a new, like, so if you get ahead of it, right? So for instance, I'm 35 on my paladin right now, and I'm on the 32 to 33 rested XP section.
Mhm.
You can right click it and you can go to 35 to 37, which is STV. And what all of those are separated with no required pre-quests leading up to them. So you can switch on the
Oh, okay.
fly
I
whenever
didn't
you
know
want,
that
and-
part.
Yeah, that was a big
That is a
selling point
cool
when I was
selling
talking
point.
to Tactics about it. Because now you can just skip ahead in the guide and know that you're not going to have to do half of a big long quest chain at level 20 to unlock those level 35 quests and things like that.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we've been doing. We're like, all right, we'll finish this one out, but we're going to skip the whole Ashen Vale section. It's what we did last night, and then we went straight to Duskwood, rather. But yeah, Cargo still hasn't gotten back to me about my code.
The Wrath one.
Yeah, I was like,
He's been pretty-
we just
pretty
talk
busy.
about our
Yeah, they've
we,
been super busy.
we just
Big
talk
Man
about the
Bubba.
guides constantly, and like listeners write in like, what's your code? And I'm like, you could use code Duranasaur if you want to.
Use code Winky. Come on.
No, Duranasaur. It's-
No, but they're super busy. Like
Yeah.
the whole RXP team and they're mad about
Should
it. I was
I-
talking to Calamity yesterday, and she's like, Blizzard Ninja dropped this 50% buff. Like, we're freaking out over here. Like, we're pumping.
Oh, I
like, all
bet.
Should
15 of us are just grinding.
should I
daily, you know?
should I reach out to somebody else then? Maybe because
He's been
Cargos
streaming
has
more.
always been bad at getting back
Carg-
to me.
Cargs is reach out to Tactics if you want to
Tactics?
reply. Hit Tactics up, but Cargs is live. Just go bug him while he's live.
Well,
and
I
he has
want to have
respond.
Tactics on the show anyway, so it'll be a good,
oh yeah.
be a good
That'll
opportunity
be
to
it,
do
yeah.
both. Then, okay, cool,
Mhm.
cool.
Okay, next thing about this leveling stuff. Can we just talk about how ridiculously laid out Exodar is? Like, what is that
Oh yeah.
city? Like, what?
That city
why,
sucks.
It sucks
why
bad.
is it a maze? And why can I not figure out how to get out of it?
It is
like-
the city that we conveniently forget exists.
Yeah,
Yep.
but do you know how
Mhm.
many quests there are in Exodar?
Like the Horde equivalent,
brilliant.
Silver Moon or whatever. That what's the name of it? Silver Moon.
Yeah.
It's awesome and easy.
But it's also terribly laid out.
Well, it's just
also-
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like you have to
huge.
take the one narrow path through the whole thing. There's like one shortcut.
Listen, the mining trainer is on the opposite side of the jewel crafting trainer, which is the
Mhm.
most annoying thing I've ever encountered in my whole life.
Well, Mel, just remember. Don't you remember Undercity? I mean, that was pretty
Oh God.
rough until you got the
Yeah.
hang of it.
No, I
Once you
don't
if you
remember.
know where things are at in Undercity, it's decent. If you don't know where things are at, it's awful.
It's actually
It's
a really
terrible.
good setup to get places quickly. Like, although I'll say Ironforge is the best laid out city in
Yeah.
all of World of
Probably,
Warcraft.
yeah.
Iron
It's so
Forge is
good.
just abyss. You just can't beat it.
Yeah, if we're
Yeah.
talking about main ones, Dalaran's pretty sick too. Like I forgot how cool everything was there and where you could buy all kinds of different stuff in different areas. And I've been
That
like
just feels small to me.
relearning. It is small, but I mean, you get to everything really fast, you know?
I like small.
Well, I
Yeah.
think, that's my problem with small things. It just hits too close to home, if you know what I mean.
That's why we call him Winky.
2022, man.
Yeah.
Used to be Pinky, but he changed it. I just came up with that. Sorry.
That's a good one.
Oh man. Well, yeah. And then for me, just been doing a lot of DKPs, and people in chat have been mad at me, and I tell them I don't think they're good for the game, but I have a freaking blast in them. I'm sorry. I am set up with gold. Like, I'm in a good spot, and I have a really good time with it. I know they suck to get into if you're starting back up. I know it sucks, but they're, I don't know.
It's not, I think they kind of fall into the same category as like the boost in my mind, where it's like if they weren't a part of the game, I would be fine. I don't need them to have fun in the game, but the fact that they are there, and that they like fill this niche of like high quality raids where I can make gold that then pays for all my consumables and then some, like, yeah, 100%, I'm in.
Yeah, it's. I mean, and especially if you're a good player,
GKPs are better than your guild. You know what I mean?
Well, and if you're
GKPs are actually good.
Yeah, and if you're a good player, you end up really doing a good job, because you get brought in as pure carries, and then you just make pure cash, like, and you get to do it doing something you really enjoy doing, which is raiding, and so it's definitely a bummer.
We've all gotten some cool strats
people
from
starting out.
DKPs.
Oh yeah, we've got like our guild leader loves it when one of us goes to a GDKP and finds a new strat, and he's like, I just love strats that are made up by people to carry people through a raid. It's good strats. Like I brought a strat for Mother, where we all we pull Mother way back to this like back ledge, and then all the melee DPS never get shot up, and same with the ranged, and like that was a GDKP strat. And we love it now. The melee used to get just shot up in the air constantly, and only the casters got to not get. So we stood by the statue. It's just it's neat to see those different things, and you just learn so much quicker than watching some guide, because I don't see any of these strategies on YouTube guides and stuff. Like, usually see the one guide that starts out at the start, but then you never see guides like of improved strategies as time goes on in those older raids. Like, you never see guides of those.
I feel like GDKP strategies are strategies that are meant to make things quick, while also doing it with 40 people that may not, or 25 people that may not be as coordinated as you'd like in a real guild. Somehow you make it work.
Actually, Duranasaur, get on that. That's actually a genius idea from Bob to do updated advanced strategy guides as things change.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Metagoblin, thank you for the raid. Bob's your uncle. Love that line.
I'll just release videos and be like Jordy 2.0. That'll be the title of the video is like Jordy's strategies but better.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you can put the thumbnail of like Jordy's face with an X through it.
Yeah. And then it's my face instead. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I guess I did forget something else. I have been playing quite a bit of beta, and Ruggs was kind enough to let me tag along in his Nax 25 and Sarth Pumper raid. So I got to do Nax 25, all the crazy strats, like the 4 horsemen, where we stack the three bosses up, cleave them down, and then go over and kill the other one, and just one healer tanks the other one while we cleave the 3 down. We were doing most of it with 2 healers. I mean, it was awesome. I screwed up so bad on Thaddeus, though. Like, I felt like such an ass. First off, I die right off the bat, right? Then they B-res me, and I don't see where my debuff is. Like, I got in the right spot to start with, but then for some reason it changed, and like something was covering my debuff, and I was like, oh god, what's and then I blew up the raid. I was like, oh my god, they're never gonna take me to anything again. but we still were able to down it. So at least like, but I felt so bad. But then we went and did Sarth 3 Drakes, and boy, that's a lot easier than it was back in the day. Like the strategy now is you just like, you have somebody kiting the Drakes while you just blow up Saffron, and like I mean, we were also, disclaimer, there were 4 DKs in the raid abusing the broken sigil. So they were basically doing double the rest of us's DPS. So if you really get down to it, we were in a 29-man raid instead of a 25-man raid. So it will be probably a lot harder for most people once things are fixed. But it was really cool to just see it and see the Drake drop. And yeah, it was a really good time. So shout out to Ruggs. He's coming on next week. Thank you so much for letting me tag along and be with the big dogs for a raid. It was pretty fun. But yeah, that's it. What about you guys? What have you been doing?
And watched TV and laughed at him when he blew up the raid.
She
He's like, I already feel bad about it enough, Mel. And I was like, you blew up the raid on Thaddeus. That was awful.
I think Duranasaur should go because my answer is boring.
Okay. I mean, my answer, well, actually, I'm doing something that like nobody else is doing, which is
true.
I am still doing, I mean, we're still raiding in TBC. I've done some stuff on the beta. I got to do some of the beta raids and all that stuff, prepping like most people are. I'm trying to get like 2 engineering and 2 jewel crafting kits farmed up. So a lot of my free time is doing that if I'm not like raiding or doing GDKPs. But this past week, Season of Mastery released Naxxramas. So I was actually, throughout this whole last week, I realized that I didn't have Revered with Argent Dawn. So if I wanted the cheaper attunement, I had to. So I was just like hanging out, trying to find like UD strats and Skolos. I was farming frost resist gear, farming consumables, doing all that stuff. And then it came out Thursday. So that was like my whole week was sort of geared towards that. Like people were coming by and they're like, yo, do you even play TBC anymore? And I was like, yeah, just not this week. So.
Not this week.
Nice. Well, did you actually go into the raid yet?
Yeah, so Thursday it came out at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, which is midnight Central European time, and I raid Season of Mastery with a European guild. So for most of them, it didn't even come out.
This isn't hardcore. This is
not
Season of Mastery, right?
Mastery.
Okay.
Correct.
Just sure.
Yeah, no, that's good because people were coming in and they're like, "Is this a hardcore raid?" And I was like, "No." Unfortunately, the hardcore community did not make it past like MC and Onyxia. They did get ZG though. But
speaking of which, they did an MC yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Or no, were they doing it yesterday or today?
It might actually be today then.
Oh wow,
they're
actually
yesterday.
still
It might
doing
be today.
Huh.
I think it's supposed
going to be
today.
a 10 out of 10 attempt as well.
But so anyway, yeah. So we went in at launch time, but the guild set like a 2-hour limit because it was already midnight or later for basically everyone in the raid except for me. I was like, guys, it's only like 3 p.m. Let's keep going. But we went in, we one-shot every boss in Plague Wing, and then we went to military and we one-shot Resuvius, which like we got to Resuvius. Everyone who did Nax back in Classic, I feel like Resuvius just like there's not much that I fear, but that thing, that boss, that boss scares me.
I'm freaking blanking on Resuvius.
Resuvius is the one that requires priests to do the MCs.
Okay.
Yep.
And we get
Human
there.
priests are the best at the MCs in that, just so you know.
I don't do. I'm telling you that everyone that was like the worst boss ever for so many guilds, and my dad guild in Classic is the easiest boss in the entire raid for us.
So
our
we
priests
got
were just
there.
good.
Yeah, you probably just had good priests. We got there and we had 2 shadow priests, which have like improved spell hit talents and stuff. So we're like, okay, you guys are going to do this MC thing. Have either of you done it before? And they were both like, no. And immediately I'm streaming it and I was like, this is not going to be a good time. We might be here for a while. And we pull it the first time, like 5 people die to the shout. Resuvius does a shout throughout the fight that does damage, I think, like equal to your mana. And so people were just like not getting out for the shout. And I was like on comms, I'm just like, guys, there's one thing the DPS have to worry about on this fight, and it's don't get hit by the shout. And you guys are getting hit by this shout.
Were they all mages stacking ignite? But my ignite stack, my ignite stack's gonna fall off. I can't LOS the shout. I have to pump.
So, but our priest did amazing. We ended up one-shotting it with like little to no effort. So to Winky's credit, like I think maybe
your old guild just sucked.
If you just have priests who are like, oh, I just mind control this mob and then tank the boss with this mob. Yeah.
Well, the difficult thing that I remember about it was that if the mind control gets like partially like immune or some shit, and then it's just a wipe.
Yeah,
right?
it breaks for some reason.
If it breaks, they can't be MC'd for like another set amount of time.
Yeah, so you have to have a tank down there to like pick it up in case it breaks and just die real quick, basically.
Yeah. But we had no problems there. We one-shot Gothic. We got to 4 Horsemen. That's where we hit some. I think we wiped on 4 Horsemen like 2 or 3 times, because this is a big thing that I think most people don't know this about Season of Mastery. I'm gonna drop some bombshells on you guys right now. Lots of people that are playing Season of Mastery right now did not play Classic.
Really
interesting.
I would say at least half the people in my guild right now didn't play Classic or didn't play it, like didn't play through the raid content or whatever, which is super interesting. Barrack TV's in the chat. He also plays and raids Season of Mastery full time. And I think he and I have talked about this, like Season of Mastery. It's so strange because to this day, I don't know who Blizzard made it for. But the number of players that I've run into that have said, oh yeah, like I didn't play Classic, or I quit Classic really early, or, you know, I just figured I'd try it, you know, is astounding. It seems like it's almost half the current player base are people that just didn't play
It's
Classic.
cool though.
Blizzard had to have made it for I guess they're people that just weren't burnt out on the content. And that's why they're still playing. You know, it's
super strange because it's like it's supposed to be a season of mastery. It's supposed to be geared towards players who want an extra challenge from vanilla raiding and vanilla content. And instead, I think that almost, you know, maybe not a majority, but a very significant number of those players are not players who actually cared at all about an extra challenge. They were just like, oh, I missed Classic, so I'm going to do this.
Wow,
that's cool.
You want to know what just frustrated me right now as soon as you said the word Season of Mastery? Blizzard has this dopamine hook just ingrained in my blood. It's been injected to me since I was a young child, right? The hooks of the marketing plan of Blizzard. The second you say season, every time I hear the word season, I immediately want to boot up Diablo 3 and play.
Yeah.
And it really, really frustrates me. Like we'll be barbecuing and be like, oh yeah, what's the seasoning? I'm like, where's Diablo 3? What was that? It's like a trigger word in my brain now that just brings out like, oh, new season? I gotta go grind to max level and get my and I want that though. I want that for Classic. That's what I want. Like I want seasons where like there's significant changes, right? And things like things that can only be had that for that one season that lasts like 6 months, right? And then it's gone forever. And
I used to be on the other end of that where I was like, no, just give us true vanilla over and over again. And since then, since talking to Barrack and T Muggsy and a few other of the people that have played through all of Season of Mastery, I had them on and we did like a hour and a half long thing where we talked about it.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, they both convinced me like, no, it's probably better for Blizzard to try new things each time. Because
and then there's always era, right? And they could always do like, hey, every couple seasons, like every year's worth of seasons, there's an era fresh as well, right?
Yeah.
And you could always do stuff like that and keep the purists pure and keep the people that want Classic Plus getting Classic Plus,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
but I want a hardcore season.
Oh yeah, me too.
God, it'd be sick.
But yeah, so back, so Nax, we got 4 Horsemen down, and then we stopped. Our guild's plan is to go back in Sunday and clear the other 2 wings, and then move on to Saffron and KT. We did a decent amount of PTRing.
Is it hard mode, by the way, or is it just straight flat Nax? What it always has been?
So it's sort of like,
you got to think about it though, Winky. It kind of already is hard mode because there's world buff.
But yeah, true. But the AQ changes were significantly harder.
Right. And
I watched Duranasaur's video of Viscidus on hard mode and AQ. It was insane.
So AQ was optional stuff as well. And what they didn't change anything with any of the bosses or trash in Nax, just like straight up, like what Bob is saying. The challenge of it for, I guess, probably the majority of people is like, imagine doing Nax when it came out in Classic without any world buffs, right? Like you don't have any Nax gear to help carry you through it. You're just straight up like no world buffs. Let's see how this goes. And that I think is a great starting point. But they did add some like really interesting little tweaks to it. Like there's basically like an in-raid currency that drops off of mobs, and you can then use that currency to purchase like not straight up buffs, but it's purchasing like items and consumables and things that can change the way that the raid works. And one of them is an item that you use as a consumable, and it gives you a buff. And what it does is it slightly increases the damage and health of bosses and gives a slight chance to increase the amount of loot that they drop. And anywhere from 1 to 40 people can activate this.
Bro, Blizzard is fucked up though. Why are they not marketing this? Like nobody knows that these are in the game.
Yeah,
unless you you like check out blue posts.
Yeah, like this should be they should be using this stuff as a marketing tool, dude. Like I think a lot more people would be still playing Season of Mastery if they knew. I bet you 99% of WoW players, especially Classic players, don't know that Season of Mastery has changes at all.
Yeah. Oh, I have people drop in when I'm doing SOM raids, when I'm doing like Blackwing Lair, and they're like, what's going on? What is that thing? And I'm like, oh, that's one of the new changes. And they're like, they changed it? And I'm like, yeah, nobody knows. No, like
yeah, it's like throw 20 grand in a marketing budget, dude. Like do something, because people would play it if they knew, you know?
Yeah. It's tough because, like, I mean, I could pull up the numbers right now. I bet there's like less than 3,000 active players across all of Season of Mastery.
And 200 of them are hardcore players.
That's true.
Well, yeah. If they go into a raid that week, because like we only can use Ironforge.pro, so it's only people. Hardcore
still does EG lockouts every time it's up.
Yeah,
so they're raiding.
So it's but I'm like, I mean, I think that everyone who's been playing SOM and has stuck with it has enjoyed it. I think AQ was really interesting because what they did with AQ was like they did 4 hard modes, and each mode like added additional mechanics to bosses. But it was like the same mechanics to the bosses type of thing. So like if it like Winky said, he watched my Viscidus video. The random things you saw happening in that video, like little claws spawning, little eye tentacle spawning, big claw tentacle spawning, and then Cthulhu coming up out of the ground and shooting everyone with an eye beam. All that stuff was just happening on all the bosses. Like there weren't like unique boss changes outside of Prophet Scarum and Cthulhu.
Yeah, but it's still so cool.
I agree.
Isn't that similar to like how Mythic raids work? Like there's different mechanics that are just added into the unique
the Mythic dungeons.
I think so.
Yeah, the dungeons is what I'm thinking. People have explained it to me that there's like certain mechanics that are just across the board added to Mythic, like every boss,
like the affixes,
something like that, and then like that's like, which I mean, kind of makes sense. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like skulls in Halo. Like on Halo 3 back in the day, like
it is.
The only way you can reload is by meleeing a mob. Like that's kind of like a mythic affix in a way.
Yeah. Okay. So because they like MC was just straight up buffed, and then BWO was just buffed. Like there's only one version of each of those in Season of Mastery, and they just have buffs to them. And then AQ40 has a normal mode, which is what we got back in the day, back in 2020, and then hard mode 1 through 4. And then Naxx kind of feels like they almost thought that just giving us Naxx and not having world buffs was going to be too hard, because a lot of the things they added.
They actually said that in a
currency.
blue post. They said that like they didn't plan to change the difficulty in Naxx. I read it a long time ago when they were changing they were changing BWL. They were talking about wanting to do it in AQ, and then talking about how they probably won't do it in Naxx because of that.
Yeah, and I think for certain bosses that's absolutely the case. Like and it's tough too though, because like I think the players that are stuck around and that are doing it are players who are a bit more tryhard, because it's like they've made it this far in Season of Mastery, they're gonna finish. Like my guild set up our own internal economy so that we could like have our everyone's farming consumable mats, everyone's sitting in the guild bank, we're getting them out to everybody. Like we're gonna make sure everyone has every consumable they need, every piece of frost resist they can get. Like we're basically one of 4 or 5 guilds that are still active on our server, that are planning on doing Naxx, and so we had to rally as a guild and figure out how
are you getting Mooncloth cooldowns and stuff for tier pieces and turn-ins for tier pieces, because for tokens, right? You need a shit ton of consumables to get your tier set.
I think people have either already stockpiled it or we just won't have enough.
Okay.
Because I reached out to the hunter class lead in my guild, because he had asked hey, can you submit basically a loot list? And I told him, I was like, I don't have any materials to make tier 3, so give it to people who do. Because I just didn't, my assumption was as a guild, we would go into Naxx, we'd full clear it once, and then from there things would probably fall apart. And so he was like, okay, I'll keep that in mind, but the guild bank might have some stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how many of these SOM guilds last after they've full cleared Naxx, especially with my guild wants to play Wrath. Very few people in my guild play TBC. The other day, the day it came out, so Thursday it came out, we did our 2 hours in Naxx, and I was like, all right, see you guys later. I'm going to go raid Sunwell Plateau in half an hour. And they were I typed in SWP, and multiple people were like, what's SWP?
That's hilarious.
And I was like, Sunwell Plateau. And they're like, what's that? And I was like, that's a TBC raid. And they're like, oh yeah, we don't it's the player base of Season of Mastery is very interesting. But they plan on playing Wrath. So a lot of them are actually excited. Blizzard recently released a blue post and kind of said, hey, we know that a lot of you are attached to your Season Mastery characters, so we're going to let you take those to Wrath.
Well, did you realize that you and Silver TV talked about that the last time you guys were on the show, and then it happened 3 days later?
Oh, I didn't realize it was that.
Because Kevin Jordan was watching.
Yeah, it happened 3 days, 3 days after. I was like, yep, I'm telling you, Blizzard, they definitely listen. Monday mornings.
So the whole, I still view SOM as a beta test for Blizzard, just it's a playground. I guess beta maybe not the right word, because it's what are they testing for? But it's a playground at this point, and I hope that they take that to heart.
Things to add in and seeing how they're responded to.
Well, and I think they learned that the primary success of SOM was hardcore, right?
Yes.
Outside that, and it was very short lived. It was only about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I bet
it was such a magical time, though. I'm so sad. I started 2.5 weeks late. Should have got in there right at the ground floor.
Fresh day on hardcore was one of the best moments of my WoW gaming career.
Well, yeah, you had just talked me into it. Yip made a guy, and I was kept thinking about I was gonna do it, and then Mel went out of town 2.5 weeks after it started. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and stream this. That's when I started streaming normally.
It was so cool though. It was a clash of the titans, dude. You'd be running through Elwyn Forest on day one, and Jokered would run past you, and then behind Jokered would be Parla and Stay Say, like everyone's just chilling, having a good time. And S-Fan runs by, Summit runs by. You're like, what is going on? Like,
we're all on the same server. That was like part of it too. That like, I still maintain this is like one of the downfalls of Classic WoW was how big it was, meant that so many guilds and so many players were spread across so many different servers. So yeah, absolutely what Winky's saying. Like, we got so many people to come and play on Obsidian Edge.
Yeah, and it was cool because a lot of these people, they were our friends through Twitch that we had met through streaming WoW or making content and stuff like that. And it's like, we never had the opportunity to play with some of these guys, right? That were some of our friends. Maybe they were in a different time zone, or they played on EU servers, and stuff like that. And then we were all there at the same time, in the same place, on the same server, grouping up for dungeons together. There was a fantasy draft, and if you were on the fantasy draft, it was probably the most fun thing ever.
Oh man.
It was great. Like, dude, I got to run dungeons. I ran every dungeon 1 to 60 with Bobka, Sarth, and Josito.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, the boys, like, these were all my friends through Twitch for the longest time, and we never got to play together.
Yep.
It was so fun. Yeah. I would go back and live in that week over and over again for like 10 more years.
I missed out coming late. I probably would have been able to actually make it to raid with you guys too if I would have started proper.
Yeah, you might. Well, rogue spots, because you ended up doing rogue spots were so contested.
Oh yeah, true.
I remember the Guzu tactics fight to the death, basically, over who could get, and Bobco was in there too, trying to get like the best gear.
And
it was crazy though.
Trash farms. They were they would go into those MC trash farms like, I have to top the meters so that I can get in the actual run, and it was scary. It
was scary for me, and I was just sitting there casting shadow bolts. It was crazy, man. Politics came out. People started talking shit on you if you didn't risk your life. It was crazy. It was crazy.
If people died around you, you were labeled as a bad omen.
Oh yeah, you killed a lot of people.
Okay.
Yep, you did. It was a complete meme.
Now though, you know how I felt
too. Though
you did save a lot of people.
But now you know exactly how I've felt for the last 3 years of my life, Duranasaur, where it's like, oh, Winky's in chat, I'm gonna fucking die now. The Reaper's here, and it's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like, yo, I just want to hang out and like not be a bad omen and like people blame you and when someone dies, right? Like,
for sure.
Still like, I'll never forget that clip of Sarth and Duranasaur saving an entire 10-man group in freaking Ubers. Like, it was epic what you guys were doing. And like, Duranasaur is just like, looks like he's cool as the other side of the pillow the entire time. And then he gets out of the rain and everybody's safe. He's like, fuck. I can breathe.
I'll still say it to this day. Like, you'll never have more fun playing World of Warcraft than hardcore with the boys, because it's
so intense.
Like, I get like, it's cool when you clear Sunwell Plateau for the first time as a guild that has wiped on Kill Jaden a bunch, right? Like maybe weeks, and you finally get the kill, and you're like, yes, and you pop off and you're excited, right? But you can have that feeling every day playing hardcore, because you get into these situations where your heart rate's 200 miles an hour and you're like, oh my God, we're going to die. And then one of your boys dies or you don't. And then it's like this crazy moment that you'll never forget.
Mm-hmm.
And those moments are what categorize fun in video games, whether you like it or not. Right.
All right. Well, Winky, what have you been doing?
Leveling. No, I do have the funny story. I was bored one day. I've been playing a lot of GTA RP, just waiting for Wrath. And I was like, you know what, dude, the Wrath and Joyous Journeys is out. I am going to be playing on Fresh in Wrath, but I'm also going to be playing on Benediction, right? So I G-quit my guild on Benediction, and I was like, later, because Ompy and Liz left, and they were the only reason that I was in that guild.
Speaking of which, you're planning on coming with us, right?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna be goofing off with you guys, which is going to be pretty fun. I'm excited.
Let me know next time, and I'll get you added too.
Yeah, I'm in the Discord.
Yeah, well, I'll get you added to the actual guild on.
Oh yeah, sure,
Benny.
I'm down. Because you know me, like I like to pump, but at the same time, I prefer like the more relaxed atmosphere.
I think our guild is perfect for you. We also have Def Camp probably coming. Most likely re-rolling.
100%. I'll be hanging out with the
Ales already. Ales gonna be coming.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun then.
Yeah.
So that's what matters is for me. So I've got this weird mentality with Wrath, where it's like, I'm not playing Kata, right? I don't care if Blizzard announces that they're gonna do Kata Classic, or if they're gonna do Kata Plus, whatever, or if they're just gonna end it at the trilogy. No matter what they announce, I'm done after Wrath, right? I'm
going, Wrath Plus where they make an entirely new expansion for us.
If it is
the rumor.
If it is vanilla, TBC or Wrath oriented, I'll continue.
I think
if
that's
it is
the
anything
plan.
Outside the trilogy, I'm not even touching it. And I know that a lot of people love Kata. It just wasn't my expansion. I associate a lot of negativity with Kata. It was a very, very bad time in my life. When Kata came out, I was homeless. I'll put it that way. It just was not my expansion, right? I'm not going to go touch every 10 So I was like, I'm in this weird feeling of like, I'm just going to go out. Like, I'm going to use Wrath Classic as like my way of just going out with a bang and just creating memories with the homies, right? That's all I want to do. I don't care about parses. I don't care about grinding gold. If I have enough gold for consumables for the entire expansion per character that I'm going to be rating on, I'm never going to grind gold again.
Winky.
Right?
Barg
you guys have the
provides all the consumables.
Let's go. Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah,
that's so exciting.
You totally forgot about that. Yeah, we have Mr. Mr. Kib.
All right, give me his PayPal. I'll be paying him weekly money, IRL money. But no, so I'm just gonna have fun with it. I'm just gonna enjoy the atmosphere and play with the people that I've met through my time spent with Vanilla and TBC, which includes you guys, and just have a lot of fun with it. And so right now I'm just like, screw it. I'm just gonna level. I'm gonna level like a bunch of classes. I'm gonna have all kinds of alts that I can do things at 80 with, because it's a very alt-friendly expansion.
Oh yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, so I'll be rating on Benediction, and then I'll also be rating on Fresh. So the only way I'm prepping right now is just by practicing my leveling route with a 50% bonus for Fresh, and I'm also leveling up alts on Benediction in the process. So right now I'm prepping.
Insane how many people are leveling right now.
It's really fun, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of people.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about it at the end, and might be one of the reasons for it. But I mean, the world is packed right now, at least on Benediction. Like, there's people leveling everywhere, and there's like level 70 horde rogues just running around murdering us while we try to level all over the place.
Had multiple world PvP interactions on Faralina.
I just had a world PvP interaction during this podcast right now in Shimmering Flats on Benediction. I just killed a level 33 shaman on the horde on Benediction.
The world is healing.
And I'm like, what are you doing on Benediction, bro? Don't you know? Like, did you get the memo? Like, this is an Alliance server, friend. What are you
there's actually a guild moved over and is actually raiding Sunwell Plateau, Horde side.
That's really cool.
On Benediction.
Yeah. I mean, they'll hate it. They'll hate their life after a few months of grinding all their unconsumes and stuff. But yeah, that's really cool. But it's funny, I made my paladin, right? Because I was just bored. It was kind of late, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna level and have some fun." And I'm running around in Northshire Abbey, and I see Blaze and Bob run past me, and I'm like, "These fuckers!" So then Bob's like, "Hey, you want to come level with me?" And I was like, "No, I don't." No.
He straight up told me, "No, I don't."
I know. Bob goes, "Oh, Winky doesn't want to level with us," and I go, "I think Winky doesn't want to level with you. He's probably seen your stream. You go on follow a lot. You're not the most efficient leveler."
Because I'm practicing my routes for Fresh, right? So I'm trying to go fast and like stay efficient and like do all this stuff. And then I pull up your stream because I was like, "Well, Bob's playing, so he's probably streaming." I pull up your stream and you're like, "Hey, Mel. Hey, like, let me log over and do my arena queues real quick. Like, we're gonna put a stop to the." I was like, "Oh, I'm so glad I'm not leveling with them right now." Like,
I had to though. Like it was.
I had to.
It was freaking Monday, and I needed to get my points. Luckily, I've got. I just had to play three games on each character, so it like worked out good.
Yeah, no, it was good though. And I'm like 10 levels ahead of you guys right now. Come on, guys. What are you doing?
Bob is on follow like all the time.
Because they're not playing during the podcast, Winky.
Yeah, I know, because they have
True.
responsibility and I don't. But I am excited now that I've moved, right? Big opportunity in my life. I can get back to like scheduled streaming, which I'm super excited about. So I'll be going into Wrath, dude. It's gonna be daily streaming, like World of Warcraft, Grand Theft Auto RP, hardcore. F's in chat's gonna come back, and it's not gonna be hardcore oriented anymore. It'll be a good time.
Sweet,
lots of fun.
Sweet, yeah.
So I'll probably have you guys on F's. Yeah, I'll get you guys on F's because I'm just gonna turn it into a bullshit podcast where we literally talk about anything we want to.
Awesome, definitely.
Because
sign me up.
sidebar anything that I'm involved with. Sidebars anyway. So I'm like, dude, why not just make a podcast that's 100% sidebars?
There was a point where you started a disclaimer at the beginning of each F's episode where you were like, "This is not a death clip show. This is a bullshit show where we watch death clips."
Yeah, because people were getting mad at me.
Yeah,
I was getting like DMs and like threats, like you need to play these clips. I'm like, dude, calm down.
My show.
Or like somebody would send me a clip and I would add it to the file, and I would have too many clips that week to play, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'd get a DM afterwards. You didn't play my clip, and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? Play it and not talk about it?
Because I would always dread my clips being on F's.
Yeah, well, you could. You know, it's crazy.
I'm like, you didn't have time to get to mine. Darn.
If you ever want to weed out people who literally want to only use you for growth on their platforms, start a show where you play other people's shit, right? Because it comes down to like people out themselves so fast if they send you a clip and they're like mad that you couldn't get to it the day after they send it to you. Because it's like they're like, that was my exposure that you just fucked up, and like I want eyes on that, and I'm like, dude, that makes me never want to watch any of your clips ever again.
I know, yeah.
You know?
Like, come on, dude. Like,
what's fun and cheeky,
great though is so we had C-Dank on last week, right? And it was great because C-Dank was on the episode of F's where Mel and I's level 35 druid died, and he got to roast me again. It was like Bob could have done 25 things here, but he just stood there and went to cat form. I was like, I know, I just froze.
Funny story about C-Dank too. I love C-Dank.
He's great.
He was in the first dungeon I did online. He was my first Dead Mines run of hardcore for Road to Rag, right? So he was in that group with me. So that's where I met him, and we became pretty decent friends after that. And he added me to the Discord for the project he's doing for Wrath. You know,
yep,
I think it's called Blind, right?
Yep.
And so someone added me, and I think it was in someone else's chat too. They're like, "Yo, Winky, like I see you're a mod in Blind's Discord. Are you going with Blind?" And I was like, "Wait, I'm a mod in Blind." So he put me in a position of power. And I was like, "Bro,
he doesn't know you that well, does he?"
No, he knows. Well, he knows me that well. It's just like, dude, you got to tell me. Like, people are gonna be DMing me about like problems with the Discord that I don't even know that I'm like doing shit for. Like,
that's what happens to me on the Mash Those Buttons Discord. I get like a random message from somebody, and they're like, "Hey, I can't do this, this, and this." I'm like, dude,
yeah, you're like,
I'm talented. Like, what? I don't know how to work the Discord. You need to talk to Jar or something.
Yeah, it's like I don't know anything about it. So I mean, I told him I'll be on Fresh anyway, so I'll definitely be cheering on Blind and their efforts, right? But it's not the version of WoW I'm interested in at this point in my life.
Yep.
You know.
Oh, all right. Well, we need to get this moving. So let's move into. Oh wait, no.
Do you want to talk about raid progress real fast?
Yeah, it's so fast though. So I just almost forgot about
really
it.
Fast. We went in. We actually were going to just do the first 3 bosses because we were down a healer, and then our healer changed his plans and was able to come. And so we were still like, we don't have the ideal comp. We didn't have enough shamies and stuff like that. It was going to be rough, right? We thought. We go in and we
hold
kill
on.
it.
Hold on, Mel. We still had to 5 heal. We still were down. We
6 healed.
We were down 2 healers. No, we 5 healed.
Definitely 6 healed.
It was you. No, I'm pretty sure we 5 healed. Are you sure?
It was Elizabeth.
Pull up the
Penta,
logs, maybe.
Jazz, Mel, Doof, and Vape.
Okay. Yeah, my bad then.
I'm looking at the logs. Yeah, definitely 6 healed. But we were 7 healing before. So like, it's not like 6 healing. We haven't done an entire raid 6 heal. Or it's been a little choppy sometimes. But we go through, we one-shot Caligos, which always like sets us up for like, oh, this is going to be a good night actually. Right? For some reason, I don't know why Caligos always gives us trouble, but we one-shot him. We one-shot Brutalis. We go to Felmist, who is also our nemesis lots of times. We one-shot Felmist. We go to Twins. We only wiped once on Twins. And I'm pretty sure I died twice on that wipe. It was fine. No worries. And then we killed Twins. We went to Muru and we wiped twice on Muru. There was a couple, I don't know, different things that happened. We didn't have the threat totem on the healer group, I think. But
oh yeah,
it was fine. So we wiped twice there and then killed Muru, and then we one-shot KJ. It was like the fastest raid we've ever had. I think it was like an hour and 47 minutes total.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah.
We killed
it was crazy. And I will say, I think, just going to point this out, that there was all healers in the Shadow Priest group. And it was our fastest raid.
Oh, yeah, we had no mages.
Just saying.
We had no mages. So, well, and like, and the whole thing is like, we've always been saying, hey, like, we should put the healers in the Shadow Priest group. And then, like, basically, you know, Harskar, our GM, says, well, then there's no reason to bring the mages if they're not in the Shadow Priest group. And it's like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, get rid of them.
Literally, we had the best run just not having them.
Yeah, put 8 warlocks in your raid, and you're golden.
Oh, dude, 8
Easiest
locks.
Muru fight of your entire life.
Yeah, I know. My God, with 8 of the Void guys just blasting.
I did a Sunwell run with 5 warlocks on Muru, and it was the easiest thing I've ever done in my life.
I bet.
It was amazing.
Oh yeah.
We've only downed him with 3. Yeah, we've only ever had 3. 3 for every kill we've done on Muru. 3.
I think I only had to ask for 1 innervate the entire raid. It was glorious.
We chain wiped on Muru because we tried to do a melee stack speed run.
Yeah.
So we brought 0 mages and 2 warlocks. And we screwed up before then. Like,
see, that would be a sick comp for KJ though. Melee pumps on KJ.
I mean, yeah, we were trying to like emulate like the Space Force comp.
Okay.
But yeah, even if we had, because we had wiped, I think we wiped on Felmist or something. I don't know, but there's the speedrun would eventually, or like, died, I guess, early on. But even if it hadn't, I feel like we would have gotten a Muru and we would have had terrible problems.
Yeah, locks just make that, like, the more locks you have, it just makes that fight silly dumb.
Speaking of speedrunning, though, Durana, we need to talk privately in the future about Dungeon Cleave.
Oh, do we?
Because I was reached out to recently by someone I cannot leak the data on for esporting events in Wrath.
I would love to chat with you.
Yeah. So we'll have to get something set up because we are business partners on this.
We are.
I mean, you might have to go into the sun though to compete with Duran, Winky.
No, I just have to get him proper lighting. That's all that.
It's really.
Again, I am not any more tan than Winky.
I doubt that. You know what? You're going to TwitchCon. We'll find out.
Oh,
will
so are we?
Follow all of us. Follow
Party!
everyone on this call on Twitter for the updates on who's whiter at TwitchCon. Where
Okay,
we all
well,
put our arms. We're gonna put our arms together, and we're gonna take a picture, all four of
I'm
us.
just gonna give you the full disclosure. Mel and I, every time we go to BlizzCon, we get spray tanned, so we'll probably do the same for
What?
TwitchCon.
No
God.
way, dude! If you spray tan yourself for TwitchCon,
Gonna do it.
people don't shower at TwitchCon.
Too many pictures, man. Too many pictures.
Oh my god!
Do it, dude.
Jeez.
Do it. It's cheap. It's easy. It's fun.
I want to look like I live in a basement.
Yeah,
That's
because we
my
literally
life.
do. Yep. Yeah, we're authentic. We're true to ourselves.
Yeah. You see how much natural light Winky's getting?
Oh.
That would kill me.
Yeah,
I would-
it's actually killing me. You know, the first day that I set this computer up, I was gaming, and the sun was coming through the window. First of all, it's hot. I live in California.
Mm.
Second of all, I got sunburnt in my house.
See, you are going to be tanner than me.
I got sunburned.
Only on half of your body, though, right?
That's the best.
Yeah, it's like
My
forearms.
My
It was
left arm is always tanner than my right arm because I hang my arm out the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
The one time I've ever been tan in my life was the year that I bought my motorcycle. I would go riding my bike every day with a short sleeve shirt on. And it was just like from sleeve to wrist was just dark. And then I would take my gloves off and it'd be like binder paper. Like it was
Oh, that's good.
it looked like I was wearing
It's a
white
good look.
gloves when I wasn't wearing any gloves at all. Oh, it was terrible.
Oh, dude, I've been like, we have our plane tickets, we have our hotel booked. Like,
Do you play Magic the Gathering?
no, I don't.
Okay, well, you're about to, because we have a house with like 13 people staying in it, Bob.
Oh wow.
Oh, exciting.
Let me read you the list of our TwitchCon house.
Oh,
It's insane. Okay, for Crix, Duranasaur, Cargos, Lesmos, Mincy, Tactics, Tommy, me, a Lutheran, Grays for Days, Mr. and Mrs. Sully, Only Black Smoke, Sarth.
Oh,
And that's
dude,
it
I
for
get
right
to
now.
meet all of them. Oh, see, I was
We're all
gonna
gonna be in the
reach
same
out
house.
to
Are you
every
getting invited to the
guest
house?
and
No,
be
you
like,
can.
hey,
oh, I'm in
Oh.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all staying in the same house. We got like a big old villa that we're gonna live at
Oh,
for
wow.
TwitchCon, and
Oh,
we're gonna
that
play
is
Magic
cool.
the Gathering. I'm bringing booster boxes for sealed drafts. We're gonna do card games. We're gonna do board games. We're gonna play Catan, and we're gonna live
Are you gonna
stream
go to
with
the
half
con?
the stuff we do.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
we need to. Someone needs to bring equipment to live stream.
No, yeah,
Uh,
me and Cargos are, because we're just gonna drive down. We're not gonna fly.
I mean,
Oh, good,
I'll
good,
bring I'll bring equipment to record audio at a really high level.
Ooh.
I've got
You
a
should
go-
Zoom
yeah.
and some like
Can
extra
we do a
really
live?
nice
Can we do a
mics.
live episode of Warcraft Reloaded?
Oh, we are definitely
100%.
planning on
From
doing
the
a live.
house?
We have to do
Yeah.
it from the house now that you're telling
yes,
me.
yes.
And we'll just let everybody just like walk over and just like jump on the mic.
Oh,
like,
that would be so
yeah.
cool! Like it's like a couch that we're all sitting
hell
on. You know?
yes, hell
And
yes.
then anyone in the house can be like walking, like standing behind with a beer in their hand or something. Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be
Hell
cool.
yeah, that'll
It'll be
be
like
a
the
great
summit.
episode.
Yes, exactly,
Oh,
dude. I
that'll be
wish.
sick.
You know what if we had more leeway time, it would have been really cool to rent this same Airbnb for like 2 weeks and have all
Mm-hmm.
of us do the Wrath launch from there.
Yeah,
Right?
we were
Oh,
talking, me
wow.
and Cargos were talking about doing that actually at his house,
Oh,
Well,
because me and Cargs are working on starting an org right now, and we want to literally do in-person events with like just flying the people to the house and like
So-
do live stream
Yeah.
shit from like in person, which you would be
something
included in Duranasaur for sure.
well, something that I saw
Ooh.
though, which was like, I was kind of freaked out when they put out the date. Actually, well, I was going to talk about it in the news, but I was freaked out when they put out the date, but I did the math. Raids don't open until 2 weeks after. So Mel and I will literally be flying home Tuesday during the day and be back home for the first raid.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but like we do have to like really front load and work up our characters
yeah.
prior to going to TwitchCon. So it's going to be
Well, I'm just gonna
a
buy
push.
a
I'm taking
laptop.
off work to go to
Here's-
TwitchCon. Bob's like, you got to take off the week of the Wrath release, and I was like, I can't take off the week before I take off a week. Like,
Do you
Yeah,
guys want
so
the
she's
Winky,
gonna have
I
to-
used to be homeless scumbag strat on how to do this? Because I have a scumbag strat on how to do this.
Okay.
Okay, on your way to TwitchCon, you go to Walmart, you buy a laptop, and then you use that laptop to play Wrath all the whole time you're at TwitchCon, and then on your way back to the airport, you return said laptop. Because Walmart has a 30-day return policy on any electronic item, open or not. You just say I don't like it, and then you give it back. I used to do it for photography. Yeah, like I used to go to concerts when I was homeless and do photography to get in for free, and then I would buy a camera on the way down, take pictures, and just take the SD card out, and then return the camera on the way back. Every time.
Well, I mean, I do have like a fat laptop. Like, I mean, it's even got like a 120 megahertz like screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a fat gaming laptop.
yeah, but you only have one.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I don't think
So Bob's not
there's
going to
no
get
way we're gonna
so
play
Mel,
during
saying here.
Twitch during TwitchCon.
You're
So Mel, go to
100%.
Walmart.
Yep, go to Walmart. Scumbag strat it. I'm telling you.
There
the
is
people
no
who make
way
these
we're gonna play
laptops,
during TwitchCon. I don't think.
the multi-billion-dollar industries that make these laptops, dude, Dell, wherever you buy it from, they're not going to care. You're not hurting their pockets, scumbagging for one weekend. Just do it. YOLO. You live once.
Dude, I'm
Just
assuming the
scumbag it.
parties are gonna be amazing. Like,
Yeah, but
none of
if
us
you're
are
going
playing.
to come to a house with all of the World of Warcraft homies staying in the same house, and everyone's going to be in the living room on their laptop playing Wrath of the Lich King.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I
Oh,
do
wow.
think so. It's going to be fun, though. That's what matters.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you just got me even because like the only reason we're going to TwitchCon is because they haven't. BlizzCon was like our favorite time of year, and they just haven't had it. And we were like, we need to go to something, and like,
Mhm.
like I was like, dude, let's just go to TwitchCon. There'll be a lot of people that we would see at BlizzCon there, so let's just go to that.
Yeah. I'm honestly, the biggest reason I want to go is to meet a lot of the people that I met through Hardcore WoW. And just hang out and have a good time. Like putting, I call it upgrading to IRL friendship, right? You're friends on the internet, and that is a lesser level, that is a lesser life form than an IRL friend.
Well,
So I can't wait to upgrade our relationship to
just
IRL.
get ready for Bob and Mel. We've been called the Energizer Bunnies at BlizzCon.
Oh,
Like
We just don't sleep a lot.
and we find our way into like the craziest parties. Like we're at
Good. We
like,
need that.
Yeah, I just make friends. I don't know what it is, but I just do.
Well, the
We
cool
got
thing about
into
TwitchCon, though, is there's
we got
like
into a
Discord.
Blizzard party at BlizzCon the last year it was up, and
Mhm.
it was like a list. There was like a list of specific people that could go,
I
went
bullshitted
up
our
there.
way in.
and we gave our name. And they were like, "Oh, you're not on the list." And we're like, "Oh, we're supposed to be
No,
on the list. We were told we were on the list."
No,
Like,
I go okay. I was like, Al recap, and okay. So first off, we got the guys, my boy Frito and Eddie the Chump from your Overwatch YouTube channel, and they were in front of us, and then Nate Listen was behind us, right? We just showed up with them, and they get in. They're on the list, and I'm like, Al recap, and she's like, oh, I can't find it. I was like, oh, maybe it's under Overwatch League recap. She's like, I can't find it. I was like, check our names, Bobby and Melissa, and I give our last name. She's like, no. I'm like, oh, that's weird, huh? And I was like, dude, something's wrong. I'm talking to the Your Overwatch guys. I'm like, something's wrong. We're not on the list or something. And the girl, and they're like, what? Why? And then like the girl goes, oh, you're probably good. Here's your band. And we just get in. I was like,
my God.
sleazed it in.
I did a similar thing with photography for my entire life where I lied. And I said I worked for a magazine called Substream Music Press, right? It's a real magazine. It's based out of Arizona. And I would go, like, I ate a steak dinner with Lamb of God, the band, right? And I interviewed them, quote unquote, for this magazine that I didn't work for. I've had dinner with Katy Perry.
Oh my
Quote,
god.
That's
unquote,
great. That's great.
And one day I get to a concert and I say, yeah, oh yeah, my name's yada yada yada. I'm with Substream. I need my press package. And they were like, oh, this other guy. It was like literally out of a movie. They're like, oh, the other guy already came. Your coworker like already came and picked up your passes. And I was like, what? And I got caught in 4K resolution by this dude. He walks out. He's got the lanyard that says, you know, press pass, Substream music media. I was like, oh shit. Turns out he had been looking for me for like over a year and a half, right?
Oh my
And he,
god.
instead of like pressing charges and getting mad at me, he offered me a job.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because he was like, dude, like people, like we look for people like you that have like the initiative that like go to concerts. They want to do this photography thing so bad that they're like willing to lie about it. He's like, we hire people and they complain about going to concerts and interviewing
Oh my
people and taking
God.
pictures. He's like, so then I made a deal with them to where I could continue to do it. Even to this day, I can continue to do what I was doing for that magazine as long as I send them every photo I take. And if they use any of my photos, they send me like cash payment per photo, which is pretty sick. It's a still like it stands up today. It's like 10 years later.
That's
and you can
great.
still do it.
Wow.
Speaking
Mhm.
of the press pass, that's probably something that helped us too, because we did have BlizzCon press passes. So like
Mhm.
that was around our neck. So like it probably helped a little bit because it was a press and like YouTuber party that Blizzard was hosting. So it probably
Yeah,
helped a little bit.
Press passes, dude. There's so many people that don't know what they're actually for, and they see them and they're like, "Oh, that person must know what they're doing," you know.
Mhm.
And they just like let you in.
Well, dude,
it's
press
crazy.
passes, getting them at at BlizzCon is definitely not the easiest thing. Like you have to have your ins, but we've went on crazy tangents. Duranasaur doesn't have a ton of time left, so we need to run in.
Sorry, Duranasaur.
Oh, you're fine.
Well,
These are good tangents.
Oh,
These
they
are
definitely are. They definitely are. But we need to move into time for the news. All right. Well, first up in the news, we really don't have to talk about because we already talked about it, but we need to let people know that on July 28th, 3 p.m., Naxxaramas on Season of Mastery opened. But we talked about it earlier, but I just wanted to re-emphasize it. Yep.
Come level. It's fast leveling.
They're not gonna. No one's gonna do that, dude. It's everyone's leveling for Wrath. No one's gonna go.
I know.
I'm sorry, Duranasaur.
And then, like, I don't know, we're not going to read them all out, but I want to remind everybody, we've talked about this multiple times, the Realm consolidation is coming August 9th. If you don't actually take a free transfer with your character is going to get auto moved to some realm, we don't know what, and it's going to be locked for a week. So we implore you, check the notes, look at this list and see if it's a server that you're on that you might need to get off of. But looking at this list, guys, is there any of them you'd like to pour out a 40 to?
Stalag.
Let me find the list actually here.
Stalag's a
OG
big
server.
one.
Yep.
And then like Karod, like Pigglesworth, Arcanite
it's
Reaper. These are all ones that we remember hearing about, seeing things about.
India is Cortona. You could just
Cron
there's
Crush.
so many people.
I don't remember a
playing.
single person playing on Smolderweb. Was that an EU server?
I think this
Maybe.
list is
Mhm.
just the NA list.
It might be just the NA list.
Because I think there's another list with
Oh.
EU servers.
Yeah,
Can you
there
imagine
is
having a
another.
server-
Yeah, blue post.
Imagine having a server as cool as Thunder Fury, and the community dropped the ball and didn't make it a crazy big server.
Yeah.
Thunder Fury is getting deleted.
I think it's tough because some of these servers I don't think ever got off the ground because they got added in like after launch.
Well, and a lot of them, I remember, like opening, we're playing, and we ended up jumping and just playing Horde one night because there was a huge queue for our server, and I talked to my friends. I was like, we want to be on the servers with the huge queue because once the hype dies, that server will actually survive. But we're not going to be able to get on tonight, so let's just go and do Horde starting level. And so we went on different servers and just did the starting area just to play. And then I'm sure there was a lot of people that did that and did the same thing that we did. Like, it was like, well, I'm really actually going to still play on Whitemane or one of the huge ones, but I'm just going to play here for a short time. And that's probably why they never got off the ground, because people were just like
one
doing
for
it.
Me is Scarum.
Scarum is
Scarum
a
had,
real one.
Yeah, Scarum had like, they were
Onslaught.
popping for a long time, and then it just like
wasn't that where Onslaught was?
Yeah,
yeah.
The Great Depression hit Scarum, and then everyone left.
I think that's where
That's where Def Camp and Mel were on, right?
That's where Def Camp and Mel were on. Sword Guild was, like,
Kigo was there, Grace for Days was there, Cargo was there,
Salve Dally.
Dude, Stalag, the server that I started on, like had Who, the guild Who, which is like still a really big guild. Fusion, which is Jordy's guild, started on Stalag. Like we had at launch Grizzly, like we had like an insane lineup on Stalag. And then as soon as the free transfers hit, like all of those alliance guilds left, and then it was followed shortly by some of the like bigger Horde guilds.
Is there anybody doing any cool initiatives to like be on the server when they get shut down to be like destroyed or deleted? Like, are you going to go make a character on Scarum or Stalag and just stand there for a little minute and like reminisce with the homies?
I mean, I still
for a couple hours, you know, like
I have a 39 twink still on Stalag.
I would log into it and see if anyone's in org.
Oh, I do sometimes,
right?
There's like a surprising number of like level 70s that are grinding the open world at like any time of day.
Bots, you mean?
Bots. I was just about to ask, were they bots?
It probably, yeah.
Yeah,
because like
they're all named.
Because like we don't see any open world bots. Like on Benediction, I don't ever run into a bot. Like they're all in dungeons, but I bet the smaller servers have bots that are in the open world still.
It's also phased to shit too on Benediction too. So like we don't know.
Well, and it's PvP too. So like,
oh, true, yeah, you could just easily get killed if you're a bot.
Yeah. I think the open world bots are probably sticking to PvE servers if I had to guess, but we definitely, would see them in dungeons and stuff, just rogues constantly zoning in and out. Like, but yeah, it's just kind of sad. But make sure you move your characters if you're going to want to play them before the time.
Also, this is a good time to remember how lucky you are if you've been on the same server since vanilla launch and you've had no population issues. If you were one of the random people that just like picked Grobulus,
pretty much
because you wanted to,
the land of beauty, Grobulus.
Yeah, right. Like, congratulations on your lottery ticket for that year. You never had to move over.
Every week that Grob stays healthy, Yip gets madder and madder that people give him shit about us moving, because he's like, dude, it's not going to last. But it's like, it just keeps lasting, and he's like, God damn it, stop talking to me about this.
To raid with Yip.
Grob Mob is strong.
I know, dude. I told Yip that you signed up, and he was like, badass. He's so excited.
I'm stoked to play with Yip.
Oh yeah, he's a good time
to play with Yip than either of you, Bob or Mel.
Rude.
Fair. I mean, same.
Well, Yip and I played Halo together, so we have a bond now.
Okay. All right.
Once you die in Halo together, you've elevated.
Oh, Yip's a good time. Yip's a good time. I think you're gonna have a blast with us.
Oh yeah, it'll be a good time. It'll be fun no matter what. I usually drink pretty heavily though if it's on farm. Just let you guys know.
Oh, same. Yeah, same if it's on farm. Although I haven't been, even though it's on farm, like because of keto. So I'm only drinking on the weekends. But whatever.
I was listening to the episode with C-Dank, and there's the question asked, like, have you guys ever had to deal with like someone who was like drugs and alcohol? And I was like, that's about to be me. Get fucked, boy. Like, buckle up, because I'm about to be putting my beer down on my numlock key and running straight into bosses.
Oh, God.
Was that a Nixia?
It was a Nixia that I did that on. Yeah,
Nice.
I did it on. I not only did it on a Nixia, but I did it when we had full world buffs. I was drunk and I was jump strafing, waiting to pull Cthulhu, and I wiped the raid with full world buffs.
Oh, no.
no.
I jumped out in front of Cthulhu.
Oh, sad. All right,
That
well,
would be a good time.
what's funny is we've like covered like all of these things pretty much earlier, but so
Who needs an agenda?
That's the magic of Winky, honestly. Winky looks at a script like that and he's like, I'm just going to lead the conversation around these topics. And we're going to cover all the bases. It's going to be seamless. It's going to seem like just a random conversation, and it's all going to tie together.
Oh yeah. So Joyous Journeys is active. It came active like weirdly on Oceanic servers first.
Yeah.
And then it just like popped up and everybody's mad about it like just popping up. Fucking deal with it, dude. Like at least it popped up. Like I've just been waiting for it to pop up. If you're bitching about like not knowing when it was gonna start, fuck off. Like
what are you doing? Planning when you're gonna level your main character around a bunch of other stuff?
I get it for like Wrath release date, but like Joyous Journeys, just be happy it came. Like we were waiting for it, wanting to level characters. It's here now. We've got it. Let's do it. We have it for a long time. Let's just embrace the fact that it came. Who cares that it came like out of nowhere? I'm just glad it came. That's where I'm at.
It's kind of cool that it came out of nowhere. It's not something people are going to take work off for. You know?
Yeah.
Fresh and pre-patch, people might take off of work for that, right?
Yeah, that I can definitely understand if you're upset about not knowing exactly when the date's coming out. But
Which is why we'd love to share with you all right now.
That actually brings us right to the next news.
Fresh is tomorrow. Pre-match tomorrow.
We talked about it last week of their like silly like meme of like accidentally releasing the release dates. But yeah, they did finally come up, you know, a couple days after their supposed whoopsie, and it is Wrath of the Lich King does launch September 26th. So if you're wanting to take off work,
every release
you can.
they have a really stupid intern every time. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh,
it's
TBC
crazy.
was the exact same thing.
Oh, I mean, literally, it's been going on with.
It's a marketing tool.
It's been going on with Blizzard forever.
It is. It's 100% a marketing tool. They do it on purpose.
Yeah, they want to be
They've got
trending.
the data that shows that everybody gets up when the leak is there. They start talking about it, and then they talk about it again when it's actually released. So
I love how
I'm just a cog in the machine. I don't even know it.
I love how my favorite video about it was Metagoblin, where he's like, I think Blizzard just wants to get up EU people at 4 a.m. in the morning, so we make a YouTube video. It was so hilarious.
That is a factual statement too. Like they know exactly what they're doing, because when Road Drag was going on, right? Blizzard reached out to Cargos and everyone and said like, "Hey, we're gonna put Twitter posts about hardcore, about the Road Drag event. We're gonna put it on the launcher, stuff like that, right?" Just a Twitter post had to go through like 32 different hands of approvals to get put up.
Right.
You're telling me some intern can just leak? And Cargo said this on Graze's stream the other day. The interns cannot just straight up leak and post something like that.
They don't have that power.
It's okay. Now, what can happen? I can give you a little industry background. What can happen, and does happen quite often, is the web dev can definitely, like, you have a web developer and they work in.
They could push out like a backend, like a saved file or version of a website.
So it's actually pretty easy for a web dev, because you always have a like live, and then you have your like, forget what the term is for it.
Yeah,
you have your like test
version.
It's a draft,
It's a draft, yeah.
It's your test environment, and you could easily push to live on accident depending on how they name their different stuff.
Like, yeah, but here's the thing, right? They're a $1 billion industry, ActiBliz, right? You're telling me they don't have a process where it's like, hey, even on the drafts, we're not going to post pictures with release dates in case like contingency for people accidentally hitting live.
Yeah.
Like it has to be part of their business aspect.
It has to be. But but all I'm saying is that there's no intern working on the website. It's definitely a web developer that actually does it.
To play devil's advocate here, people are idiots.
Yeah,
That's
but every
That
experience.
was my whole point. Like I've worked with many web devs because I'm the guy that sets up a server for them to work on, right? And they often accidentally push to live rather than pushing to the test environment because of like naming, or they're just tired.
Yeah,
but like they often do it.
It literally never happens until there's an expansion that needs to be leaked.
This is definitely. I'm on the camp of saying it's on purpose, but it is easy to screw up.
Blue post leaked a week before they were supposed to post it. Never.
Yeah,
right?
But people don't really notice things like that as much either, right?
I just like I think that you're probably on the money with this. I just always default back to like people. The most simple answer is usually the correct one, and it's like people just make mistakes. People are yeah,
it's just so convenient though.
And I mean, like I've worked at huge companies where the web dev is like, shit, I just pushed it to live. They're going to their manager like, can you pull it back? Can you pull it back? Like,
yeah, but there's never any like, so like I'm diehard Diablo 4 right now, right? Like I cannot wait for Diablo 4. There's news updates, there's blue posts, there's quarterly reports that they do. None of that shit accidentally ever gets leaked. But I guarantee you, closer to Diablo 4 coming out, the release date will accidentally get pushed to live at some point a couple months before it goes live.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And then they'll say that's not true, and then they'll repost it with no date on it, and then they'll be like, actually, that was the release date. Haha. Good job.
Gotcha.
Hacker man.
Well, one thing we can just hope is that they do properly communicate when the actual pre-patch and fresh servers launch. Most likely it'll be a 4-week pre-patch because but most likely it'll be 4. So you could probably think that you're probably going to get your pre-patch somewhere around August 30th or so.
I know. I would love for it to be like the 16th. I think that's a Tuesday. And then we get 6 weeks of pre-patch.
I mean, and they could do that with
between the 16th and 30th. I think that's what you have to plan for.
Yeah, because they want to do 6 to 4 weeks.
I think the contingency or the biggest hurdle for pre-patch is Death Knight, right? Yeah. For the most part, like it's just getting the Death Knight in the game.
Yep.
Because man, it would be so cool to get a couple lockouts of a Death Knight in Sunwell, you know, like.
Oh, dude, I would love pre-patch to come just to be able to like tank in TBC, like with all the new crazy talents.
Yeah, it'll be really cool to be there to see all that go down, you know.
Yep. And then the last piece of news here is bring Arena PvP to Wrath Classic. Now, we've talked about this on the show when they said they were going to do it, but just to let everybody know, when Wrath hits, we no longer have to have teams. You did have to have teams back in the day in Wrath, but they are changing it to more the retail model where you're going to be able to queue with whoever you want, and it's going to put you somewhere in the in the average of what you both have for rating. So it's going to make it a lot easier to do arenas. Now, one unfortunate thing is we were talking about me jumping over to do my arenas. I was able on teams to do 3 games a week with a team that has like 9 people on it, and we had it set up to where we'd play like most people would play like 3 games and we get points. Well, now you are going to have to play your full 10 games on each character to get points every week. But yeah, they are definitely changing that. And you're just
10
going to
games
have
is
your
only
own.
like 45 minutes though, right?
Yeah, yeah,
10
yeah.
games, maybe an
Yeah.
hour,
But-
hour-ish. That's not too bad for a week.
Oh yeah, definitely. But for people that really don't want to do it, that just want the points to get the, get the epics, like it is
True.
a little bit of a bummer for them, but it's a good thing across the board. Just not having to deal with teams and just being able to queue with whoever you want, basically.
Yeah, agreed.
So that is a good thing. Sorry, I'm kind of rushing us along, but Duranasaur has to go soon, so I don't want to miss this next topic because I want him in it. So we're gonna move on to
Bobby, we need to have a talk about this World of Warcraft Classic. Do I look like I know what a WoW token is?
All right, so this week's discussion is boosting and the anti-boosting stuff that Blizzard has put in, and they put it in with Joyous Journeys, which I guess like there was like a little 24-hour part where Joyous Journeys was up, but boosting still wasn't like taken away. I don't know that I really care about that, but like it's interesting. Some people seem to really care about it, like, and we're like, well, you still got to boost with the 50%, but like basically what they've done, there's a whole bunch of stuff. They've made it so that you can't snare and slow and stun at, a certain time interval. They've actually like fixed pallies too, to where in like Strathhome, mobs use knockdown, which will stop them from blocking and everything. And then basically, if they've got a ton of people, they die instantly because they've basically been stunned. Like they're just basically making it impossible to do the huge pulls. And then on top of that, you don't get crap for experience if you have somebody who's a higher level. Like for instance, Mel and I got run through 2 runs of the Dead Mines with a 70 warrior, and we got like 4.5 bars of EXP for the entire thing, which before would have been a level and a half at the level that we were at. But we basically just went in there to get gear and then go back to questing, but they've basically cut it down. I don't know how big the difference is in like TBC if you have like a level 60 and a level 70 boosting, but I'd assume that they have it at like a 5 level thing or something like that. Some people have said that they got the same, but I don't know that I believe it until I actually see it.
Well, there's people still boosting all the time, like slave pens and up, Shadow Lab slave pens.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing that because it still works, or else they wouldn't be doing it. I talked to, I was on
I will believe you rather
Warcraft
than random
today with Grays and Cargos and Abide yesterday, and they were talking about the same topic of the whatever it is, the boosting getting canceled.
Okay.
And Esquire was in chat, and Esquire was saying like it's still going, and then I whispered a bunch of people on Benediction like in game during the podcast, and it's for sure still working from at least 60.
Okay, cool. Well, I will take your word that I just heard like random people saying it. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to believe it until
it's much harder now. From my understanding, it's way harder, and paladins can still do slave pens solo, but it's harder. Because the mobs like teleport to you or some shit now after 60 seconds. And you can no longer do the pathing on ledges, like the evade pathing.
I heard yesterday. So there's when you're in combat with a mob for a certain amount of time, they become like immune to slow and snare.
Yeah.
Apparently, frost grenades reset that.
Yeah, but I anticipate that getting fixed pretty fast.
I think that will get fixed, but this just to like credit the ingenuity of these boosters, like they're finding ways to make it work.
Yeah.
Well, you got to realize some of these boosters, I would say the majority even are people who sell gold to buy food for their families. They live in countries that are not the United States, right? And it's like when Blizzard comes out with something to quote unquote fix what they're doing, their job, their full-time job at that point is in jeopardy. They're gonna be pretty ingenuity. Like
I love this. I love how Winky finds the one way to make you feel bad for the gold sellers.
Hey,
Winky doesn't want him going out of business.
Hey,
That's how Winky plays well.
Hey, $12 for 1,000 gold might be $12 American for me, but that might be food for a couple days for some dude's kid. You know what I mean? Like I'm down.
Oh my goodness.
I'm supporting the boys.
Oh, I love it.
Literally, Winky justifies his
buy
gold
gold,
buying.
buy
He's
gold,
feeding
solve world
children.
hunger. Yep, buy gold, solve world hunger. You heard it here first.
I love it. I love it. I mean, that's definitely a stance people don't look at a lot of the times. Is that
Wonder why?
Okay. Oh my goodness.
I mean,
No, I'm just
honestly,
saying, I
these gold sellers are in other countries. It is something to think about.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
This is the only way that they can feed their family. You're talking.
I am 100%. I am 100%. Like I was born as the advocate of the devil, dude. I literally, my lifelong dream is to just be devil's advocate on every discussion known to man.
Duranasaur just doesn't even know what to say to this. He's just like,
It's because you can't argue with the devil's advocate because he doesn't care.
My face hurts from smiling so hard. Oh my god!
If you look,
Literally.
if you're listening at home and you can't see Duranasaur's face right now, he's just shaking his head.
Oh, and I'm trying. Like
He's
literally,
trying to
my
do
cheekbones
this.
hurt.
He's trying to do this to me. It's his goal. It's how he finds joy. He's like, this sparks joy, and it's like, not in me.
not in me.
Well, no, so I'm okay with them with the boosting fixes. I should preface with that, right? I like the fact that they have removed boosting. I dislike the fact that they have removed a gold farm from a lot of people's like how they farm for gold. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I always when I said stop
It's gonna
boosting.
inflate the market for you.
Well,
Yeah, it did.
well, when I said
Prices went
stop
up for
boosting, way back in the day, I just said like if somebody's like a few levels higher than you, or like it doesn't make sense, then just like kill the exp, like, and that definitely kills
the
boosting.
problem,
But
talking to Esquire about that yesterday is that doesn't solve the problem for 70 to 80 or to 60 to 70 leveling.
see, and they should if they want to do it, they should make it a three level gap is the highest you can go, because 60 to 70 is such a jump compared to like 50 to 60 or blah blah blah, like, and they might look into changing that. But like you talk about like taking away people's gold farms and the big old AoE stuff, but at the same time I feel like it kind of sucks that you have to have a alt pally or a mage alt to like really make good gold. Like Mel and I made mages back in vanilla because it was just such a good gold maker compared to everything else. It's just kind of rude. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about
like,
it. I love watching it, but I think it's bad for the game.
It comes back to servers being too big and things like that, right? Like the reason why other gold farming methods aren't as efficient is because you've got these like mega servers with too many people farming too many of the open world resources. So it forces people to do these instanced farms, and when you ruin the instanced farms, it's gonna be apparent, right? And I think that's what you're seeing on a lot of these mega servers is like the prices of everything is just skyrocketing because people are like, okay, well, I guess I'll go. I heard about like even day one of this change, a bunch of like paladins were like, all right, I guess I'm gonna level like mining and herbalism on this character and use like Crusader aura and just like run around and grab all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, but when you have every boosting paladin go out into the open world, this stuff's already being grabbed by bots and real people that were already doing that. You add more people to that, there aren't like dynamic spawns for those things. It's just gonna everything's just gonna be worse.
We'll see what happens in Wrath with it, right? Because that's gonna be what the true fallout is. Like, we're gonna feel this the hardest when Wrath hits, and then we're gonna be like, but it doesn't matter, because no matter what you do, Scotty J, Esquire, Meta Goblin, there's always going to be someone on YouTube going, title, all caps, 250 hour per gold per hour best grind in Wrath of the Lich King. This is the meta, boys. And then everyone jumps on the meta, no matter what it is, whether it's mage boosting, paladin, gold farming. Like, it doesn't matter. They can nerf something. The next best thing will be the number one thing to do. And then all of a sudden, everyone's going to be doing that. So it won't matter.
What sucks, though, is anytime that they make a video like that, if it's an open world farm, that shit is done at that point. Like, it is done. Because I remember doing the what's it called, in Wintergrass, those 3 little, like, what are they called, little wolf bear things or whatever that you would farm. You would farm your 2% crit. Fire, not the 2% crit. Fire. You would farm fire water off of them, but they would spawn right at the start of there. And that farm, I found out about it just a little bit before YouTubers did, and it was fucking amazing. And I could just like farm there, and then all of a sudden the YouTubers talked about it, and then there's people there every time now contested. Like they basically like kill open world farms most of the time.
Resident XP Guy does the same thing for, like, you know how it like tells you where to go, but if you have Question 2, you can see there's another pack, and like everybody's in this one area, and you're like, why is everybody here? Yeah, I mean, there's other ways to, like, you just got to think a little creatively, right? Like, I could see in a world where there's instanced pulling all of Stratholme as a paladin and killing it all and getting your loot, right? Sure, that farm might be nerfed, but now it's literally just forcing you into a new meta. In Classic, it was jump runs for DM East, right? You can go do that too with a 5-man group, get your buddies, go farm adamantite in dungeons, right? Like, someone will figure out whatever the next best gold farm is that everyone should be doing, and then everyone's gonna go feel like they have to make a mage alt or whatever it takes to do it, and then they're gonna do it anyway. So at the end of the day, it sucks. I think that this change would have been great. I'm gonna steal this from Grace for Days. This change would have been great on Fresh and then not on Live. Because right now, if you were behind on the amount of gold you have right now, and there's been years of people farming with big mage AoE pulls and paladins pulling and all that, you are getting screwed over big time, because you now no longer have the opportunity to catch up on just raw gold income that a lot of these other people have had, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the servers are already inflated because of the amount of time that these people have been doing these farms. So you're literally getting stabbed in the back by a blizzard, and you're also getting stabbed by the economy that's already in existence that you were trying to do something about, but you just can't do it now, right? You've been locked out of it. So it's like Fresh, this would have been great, 100%. It's like, yeah, cool. No more soloing dungeons for gold on Fresh. Well, but on the current servers, I don't even know what the answer should be.
On the other side of the coin, though, with boosting being dead the way it is, I don't know about like 60 to 70. I haven't been in any of those leveling zones, but as far as in Azeroth, it could be a reason why we're seeing so many people in the open world doing quests.
Yep. It's great. It feels great. It's like Blizzard created an initiative, right, for everyone to go level in the world. They said, yeah, screw your boosting, and also here's this XP buff for quests and killing things, right? So it's like, it's great time to level in the world.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, it's been great.
It does feel good. It feels good.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's less fun when there's a bunch of people snagging my mobs. We tried to kill
That is one thing that pisses me off. I'm like, damn it.
Murkdoc or whatever. The Murloc.
Murkdeep, yep.
Yeah.
Every hardcore player knows about Murkdeep. As a pally
and a priest, we're losing to every mage, every freaking anybody that has an instant cast, right? Like, it's so frustrating. And then the one time, we were trying to kill Hogger, and the one time I was like, I got this. I'm gonna keep up my aura, and I'm gonna judgment as soon as I've got this macro that'll do judgment, right? And I accidentally put on the wrong aura that doesn't do any damage. I was like, I got it though. What happened? And I was like, oh man.
Was it Hogger? So, it was something else.
It was Hogger. Oh no, it wasn't Hogger. It was Belly Grub.
Yeah. Billy Grub.
Same thing, you know.
The old belly scrub. Hardcore killer that pig is.
Dude, that pig is not marked as an elite, but it's that pig slaps.
That pig. That pig is no joke, man. People died. People used to post like highlight clips of killing
like, yo, look, I soloed belly
scrub. Yeah. They literally would. They'd be like, here's my strat of like dipping my feet in and out of the lake to fuck with the pathing on belly scrub so that I can get the kill. And I'm like, dude.
Oh,
that pig is rough. It's the equivalent of it's the spider in Durotar as well that does that. What's the spider name, Durana? You're a horde guy.
Wait, which
in Thousand? It's like it's right when you leave the Barrens to the north, or is it to the west? The west. It's like Stone Talon, I want to say.
Oh, the elite spider. Yeah.
What's that? Besseleth, I think it's her name.
Besseleth. Yeah.
Good old. It's that she's the princess, right? But she's actually marked as an elite.
Yeah, she's actually an elite. She was. Yeah, she's one of those ones. Same thing. It's like, yo, check out my hot highlight video. Besseleth.
Look at this strat of me jumping over this log 55 times, throwing a knife at Besseleth.
It's crazy though, because I always thought Belly Grub was an elite.
No,
it's not marked as one.
Yeah,
wow,
it just pumps.
It hits like one.
Belly Grub is rough. All right, well, yeah, I mean, I think like boosting, people are going to figure stuff out, but I think it looks like Blizzard is actually really dedicated at this point to stopping it. So, like,
I mean, it got people out into the community and out into the world, and I think that's the big bonus, right? They're going to figure something else out, and that's fine. I mean, Blizzard can only do so much, right? Like, if we just keep figuring out workarounds to make things better and everybody keeps doing them, like,
I think
I kind of want to know where they're going to stop, though. Like, all of this started with like when they banned multi-boxing, right?
Well, and that's like, okay, so multi-boxing was another one. There's like, people like No Hit Jerome that like made their whole Twitch career off of that. Then they just yanked it out from under him. And then talk about the real Esquire, which is like his whole Twitch career is based on like AoE stuff. Like, and like changing this like really hurts those guys quite a bit. They have to reinvent what they do. And it's just like, it should have been changed like right at the beginning if we wanted to do it.
Because I thought Esquire was going to have like a hot take about it. He was like, no, I don't care. Like, let him remove boosting. As long as he's like, what I care about is the fact that they're ruining the solo gold farming. Other than that, he's totally fine with no more dungeon boosting. Which I thought was going to not be the case.
Well, I think his whole shtick is just being able to take big old packs. Like, it doesn't really matter if he's boosting someone or not. Like, that's, and I don't even know, is Aurelius even still doing anything now?
I think he's making YouTube videos still, right?
I'm not sure. But like, he did everything on like that too. Like, it's kind of a bummer for those guys when you like rip it, like, out of the game, and then therefore like now they really can't do what they were doing, and I don't know how I really feel about it. But
I mean, I was a multi-boxer with Jerome, right? And when they banned multi-boxing, I kind of felt like they took away a major aspect of why I played WoW. Because multi-boxing is its own game. It's a completely different, you're not playing World of Warcraft. And I didn't play on PvP servers. So before any one of you guys go, oh, Winky was a toxic piece of shit standing in Blackrock Mountain with 40 mages.
I don't think they needed to hear about your multi-boxing to make comments like that.
Yeah,
but,
true.
That's
true. That's actually such a fact. But like it's a different game. You go in a dungeon, it's cool to figure out how your comp and all that works and how you want to handle these certain boss fights. Like leveling is fun, doing Scarlet Monastery and trying to like move all your guys in certain ways to not get AoE'd by the dude at the end of library, stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they yoinked that straight out of the game. And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
That ruins like half my fun because that's what I did to make my gold, right?
Yep.
Now I got to buy gold from the bots that they, for some reason, won't remove because they have removed all the other ways to make gold out of the game other than botting.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to have to be the show. Duranasaur has to leave like shortly. I'm bringing it right to the last second. Duran, sorry.
It's perfect. Perfect timing.
All right, guys, I'd like you to please follow us on Twitter to know when we go live. It's at WC Reloaded. You can follow the Mash Those Buttons Network at the Mash Network. If you want to send us an email, please do so by sending it to wcrpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to send us, call in, leave a voicemail. The number is 816-866-1066. If you'd like to join our Discord and interact with the hosts of this show or any of the shows on the MASH network, it's mash.gg/Discord. How can you help the podcast? You can tell your guild about it. That's the best way. But on top of that, you could leave us a review on iTunes. You could post us on Reddit. You could, just spread the word is the best way to help us out. And yeah, thank you for that. Also, the Patreon is going to go to a flat monthly charge. If anybody wants to check out the Patreon, just search Patreon Warcraft Reloaded. You will find us. And yeah, Mel, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Overwatch, or find me in-game arena. Benediction.
And Winky, where can we find you?
You can find me in-game on any character named Winky on Benediction. Or something new that I'm doing, you can find me on Spotify at Timmy Timerson. Look up Timmy Timerson on Spotify. That's me. You like dance music.
Ooh, cool.
All right.
Yeah.
And Duranasaur, where can we find?
Most things Duranasaur, twitch.tv/Duranasaur, YouTube Duranasaur, Instagram Duranasaur TV. So someone got me on that one.
Nice.
And in our hearts. You can find Duranasaur in our hearts as well.
Yes, always.
And you can find me on Twitter at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. And still streaming a bunch. So you can find me streaming at twitch.tv/BlazinBob. No underscore on that. And yeah, we're going to get out of here, guys. It was a good episode. A lot of tangents. Thank
sorry.
They weren't
for
really
that.
tangents. They were
sorry.
just the news in a different order.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
We
no, it's
covered all-
great. We love it. Love it. All right.
I'm never going to come on again, Bob. I keep going on tangents.
I love it. I love it.
I can't do it.
Keep on keeping on, man. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right.
Later.
See you guys.
Bye.
All right. That's the thing. Thank you very much for checking out Warcraft Reloaded podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content.